Wake up, gamers, because you're listening to the Big Think Dimension with Dan and Bob Video Games. Hey, I'm Dan.
And I'm Bob.
And we're video games.
Chris Wolfhard.
Bark, bark.
And Dr. Aggro.
I'm not built different, but what the hell? Let's try it anyway.
Here on GigaBoots.
What could possibly go wrong?
Nothing. Everything's going to work out this time.
Who could have imagined that Aggro wasn't strong enough to stop the train just like Spider-Man?
But he had this confidence that I wanted to believe in.
We may or may not have watched certain Capcom Netflix affiliated media where it is 3D animated and that's not great. But they do use that as an opportunity to just mulch people and turn them into red jelly. And all I'm imagining is that happening to Aggro when he steps in front of the train. He just becomes a particle effect.
The really funny thing of that is I think that's pretty one-to-one to one of the effects in the games. Like, it's an intentional reference.
Oh, really?
Huh.
Because I've... fair warning, and obviously we'll get into this more and other things. I've only played one in Blade Warrior.
Yeah, I think it's a thing in 2 and 3 when they really start leaning into the you hold guard and tap attack as they're attacking you, and you like instantly eviscerate them.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I don't remember that effect being there, but maybe.
Well, you know, there's plenty of time before we record that. Obviously, you need to just... Bob, you have a Steam Deck, right? I hear those are good at emulating PS2 games. Just boot it up right now.
I'm sure.
I actually do have the Steam Deck right over here. It's literally on the ground where it belongs.
Right.
No, it's things are getting moved around because we're relocating sometime this month, so that's exciting. It also involves a lot of me driving 11-hour round trips and whatnot.
Yeah.
And then on top of that, I'm like, hey, what if we went to Jollibee's? It's only in Jacksonville. We just have to drive 4.5 hours.
Jesus. Look on the bright side, Dan. Because you have a hybrid, all those drives will not cost you $1,800.
Yeah, I know. It's nuts. I feel bad even implying anyone should have to drive up there because the hybrid, what is it? It's like $30 a direction because it's less than a full tank to do.
Jesus Christ.
It's pretty cool. I actually, after I ended up with the hybrid, which once again, thank you, Chef, for the support. I looked into it and I was like, oh yeah, my range would have sucked if I went electric. And obviously it would have been lesser if I went with a normal car too.
Right.
I didn't think about that. So that's pretty helpful.
Give me a huge tax credit for buying a hybrid, Brandon, Joe Brandon. President of the United States, Joe Brandon.
Yeah, that's probably the neatest thing about it. That and when you're doing intercity travel, you know, it turns off the motor a lot and it makes it a pretty chill ride. The least cool part is when you're like, and I assume this is only with hybrids or electrics. If you're in a drive-through or any small parking lot, usually the drive-through is the issue. You need to throw your car into park, otherwise it just will constantly let out this like to let people nearby know your vehicle is able to move.
Yes, I think that's a government mandated thing because people are like, these things are dead fucking silent in town. Kids will get killed by them.
Which is funny because you know the AirPods meme of like, no, he can't hear. He's got his AirPods on. I actually have a vehicle has backed into me, a pedestrian, because I had AirPods in and they moved very, very slowly backwards without looking behind them at all. And I was standing very far away. It just happened. And I was looking a different direction. Yeah, so it's going to happen anyways. But, you know, it's nice to make it sound. Yeah.
When I was like 12 years old, I saw a 4-year-old get hit by a car. I was like 5 feet away. And then the kid was fine. Kids are almost invulnerable.
Almost.
There's like that Haas of Decline comic where the guy's like, I'm 37 and I threw out my back checking my mailbox somehow. And then a kid runs out into the street and gets ground into mulch under the car's tire and then just runs back into the yard totally fine. But yeah, it freaked me out because the kid ran between two cars that were parked on the street. So he effectively appeared from nowhere to the driver.
and returned there.
I've never seen a human being that far off the ground before or since then.
Holy shit.
That's the sort of shit you would see in like 90s films, and it would just be hilarious every time as they're just like, eat that child.
Yes, it was like you took like the cousin Skeeter puppet and just threw it.
Holy Jesus.
And I'm fine talking about this because the kid was fine. He,
Right.
like, had like a cartoon bump on his head, and that was
God. So yeah, it's cool that it makes a sound, but the first time I noticed it in the drive-thru, I thought Whataburger had a horrible speaker problem because I'm literally freaked out because it's haunting sounding.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you're supposed to let them know my car can move, not that it's bringing Silent Hill to them. That's the droning sound it makes, and I'm just like, what the fuck is happening in this Whataburger drive-thru? And it took me like 2 times going through that drive-thru to realize, oh, it's my car. Because as it turns out,
soft hack your hybrid so it plays the pyramid head scraping sound.
Just, put some dry ice under your fender.
these are all really good plans. Everyone's gonna love me at the new place we moved to. But yeah, as it turns out, contextually, outside of a drive-thru, you don't really sit near a wall with your gas on with the car and drive.
Right.
That's not, you normally park it, or you're in a street. Niceville, not really a town full of tight alleys with tall buildings.
Mm-hmm.
Not really, no. Anyway, we played some video games. Let's get to the reverse stream order though. We did that N64 stream on the Mr Core.
We did.
That is shockingly done.
Yeah, a lot of stuff worked, but a lot of stuff I wanted to work did not work at all.
That's true. There's one feature that isn't implemented at all yet. It's called the TLB. It's a something lookup buffer. It's basically some sort of quick buffer for them to reference in order to speed up some computations and things. Because as it turns out, one of the Achilles heels of the N64 architecture is that it's a shared bus, kind of like the PSP, but even more of a nightmare because of various things. That isn't implemented yet, so I'm really shocked that like 60-70% of the games we ran did work, and very few of them had glitches.
Right.
It's just neither Castlevania worked. 2 of the Bombermans didn't work, specifically Bomberman 64 and Second Attack.
Yeah, the 2
and then the Goemons, neither of the Goemons worked. And Mario 64's face on the title screen doesn't work. So they literally have a way, like you could go get a ROM hack to skip Mario's face. Let me tell you, as somebody who's played Mario 64 through too many times, it does actually make me discomforted. Booting the game, it's like, it's a me, Mario, and then you're just seeing the file select.
Right.
It feels like I'm watching a poorly made creepypasta.
Yeah, like Mario's not here anymore. He's in hell.
Yeah.
Yeah, the Goemon things are 2 big things I wanted to work. Bomberman 64 I would also like to work. Mischief Makers worked, but that was a big one for me.
Yeah, and surprisingly, it threw up an error code, but it didn't seem to do even one thing wrong.
I thought there was something with...
Oh, the boulder.
Yeah, some
the
parts
boulder
of the
and the
cutscene didn't
intro
load,
sequence
so,
didn't work.
So that might mean that
Yeah,
some levels that use 3D stuff might not load right, too.
Yeah, we should have stuck with that until we got to the boulder segment, but that would have been level 4, I think.
Like, I'm not a patron to the person creating this course, so I'll just wait till it's out.
Mm-hmm.
But the stream convinced me it wasn't a pipe dream. Like, I'm like, oh, they'll probably get this working.
Right.
Yeah, because that's the tone it's been spoken of for years now.
Mm-hmm.
So,
but no, it feels like we're just a few steps away.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if, like, I don't know, by March, we're like 99% done.
Right.
I'm really glad to be that dude's patron. Like, that's important work. I guess we haven't even, like, somebody might come in and be like, what the fuck's a Mister?
Yeah, that's true.
For people who don't know, instead of using a software emulator on a PC or using traditional retro hardware, you can use a thing called a Mr FPGA console. And it's basically a build-it-yourself PC. It's very, very small, the size of 3 decks of cards on top of each other, basically. And they just interconnect in a very specific way. And the FPGA is a descriptor of the processor on it, which makes it really good for setting up things like emulators because it's field programmable to be a different processor, basically. So these people are just building processor layouts for this to emulate PS1, Super Nintendo, everything. So if there's a retro game before the PS2 generation that you want to play on a thing and you want it to look good, output to a CRT optionally, have good input latency and pretty accurate sound, this thing basically does it. And it also does Game Boy Advance. So, an awesome device. Worth every cent. It is not the cheapest thing, though. I really wish
Especially not now.
Yeah.
When we all got one, it was like 400, and now it's like 600, and that's a hell of a fucking cost for any device, no matter how useful.
I thought it was still like around 450 or so if you built it yourself.
If you build it yourself, you can get it slightly below 500, I think.
Right, which you should build it yourself. It's really simple.
It's a lot simpler than a PC.
Yeah.
Like, PCs aren't even that complicated in the grand scheme of things, but this is much simpler than that even. Because it really is. These devices are meant to go together.
Yeah, clip these 3 circuit boards together. They have slots for each thing.
Then put the tiny, like, baby-size RAM in the tiny baby-size RAM slot. Yeah, it's pretty simple. I'm seeing someone in chat say PS5 or Mr. That actually is a thing I've pondered for friends, even. Because I have friends who are like, they could use a PS5, but they could also use a Mr. And that's a real quandary.
Yeah.
Which one holds more value? The Mr. aces all the retro games you care about prior to 6th gen. The PS5 is a great way to play every modern game.
Yeah, anything PS4 and 4 is just works really well.
Works incredibly. Like, loads pretty fast. Like, very few games don't load fast on that thing. Runs at the highest frame rate the game's coded for. The only thing you miss out on is like PC mods and games that aren't available on PlayStation.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I've been mulling over that myself because I think the Mister's great. And I also think the PS5's great. I don't know. Do you also want VR? That makes this easier.
The Mister doesn't do VR? No sell.
Hey, just wait. I bet the Virtual Boy core's coming.
God.
I'd be so happy.
Yeah,
that would
great.
be awesome. That'd be so good. Let's see. Yeah, they don't have that core yet, but the N64 core is amazing. Like, they're doing great work. It's come so much further than you could ever reasonably expect. Now we just have to keep looking at the Saturn core, be like, how you doing? We might need an investigative stream into that.
We do.
Much like due to this week's news, we might need an investigative update stream looking into the Steam Deck. Because I hear it's better now, so it won't have the same rock bottom batting average it did the first time.
Yeah.
I mean, here's the thing. At the end of the day, it's a bunch of Linux people building in the support for Proton and stuff, improving it. We're not dependent on Valve necessarily to fix and improve everything.
It's true.
So I am curious how much better it would do this time. And obviously, we could just use a controller this time and use a video out.
Yeah, now that we have
instead
those
of pointing
options.
the camera at the... Because, we wanted to get it close to launch, so, we just pointed the camera at the fucking portable itself, because the ergonomics of it were also an important thing,
Mm-hmm.
We already know what the ergonomics are. They're not great.
Yeah.
But, so we could just use a normal controller, because really we just want to check, like, how far it's come, like, performance increases and stuff. But, I get to follow up on that in the Steam Deck news segment later. Bob, did you want to say anything?
About the...
Oh, just in general. If not, you're dismissed. You can just...
Oh, I see.
You're good. You get to go home. Aggro and Chris, you stay after the bell.
Oh.
I went to private school. You're not going to scare me.
What if I kept handing you DVDs of Ted Lasso after every course while having this mustache? I'm like, here, watch this. I bet you'll love it.
I would be delighted. I would love to know what the fuck that show is. I still can't tell if it's good or not and who's being ironic.
Yeah, it's real fucked up in that way.
Do you really think I would be ironic about my love for Ted Lasso?
Considering that the only person I know the only person in history who I have perceived as a human being be really into Ted Lasso is Mitt Romney. Like, I don't know. I'm like, okay, is this one of those things where it's like, it's wholesome and lasts 8 hours, and that's enough for some people?
It is, the way I keep phrasing it is Ted Lasso really is a 90s sports film in every way you can imagine. That's an motivational, uplifting story about a team maybe coming together and working against the odds, and some really likable scamp as the main character turned into a streaming series that's filmed with a shitload of money, which I appreciate. I know it's a radical statement to be like, I like looking at the screen, seeing things are real and look good. What a concept that I don't want to just look at motherfuckers 2 at a time on a green screen. It feels good. It feels
You don't want Ted Lasso to walk into frame and like his polo shirt and his jeans aren't VFX onto him?
No, I don't want the shrink wrap Ted Lasso suit like a fucking Marvel hero.
Like a character kicks a soccer ball and it's real and not a VFX ball that doesn't properly float in front of the things it's supposed to be in front of.
Yeah, now that you're bringing it up, I didn't notice that problem at all. The fact it wasn't bad enough to stand out probably says a lot too.
Yeah.
Because I'm like top level VFX pixel peeping autist over here. Like you, there are so many things you could put on a screen that most people will be fine with, and I'll just be like, that looks like shit.
How dare you?
What are you doing? No, I don't want Ted Lasso with interpolated frames. I don't want Ted Lasso DLSS 3. Yeah, Ted Lasso's fine. Anyways, that really had nothing to do with the N64 Mr. Core.
No.
So Bob, why'd you bring up Ted Lasso?
I didn't.
No, I'm pretty sure that I seem to recall that. Well, what do you want to talk about next, Bob?
I guess there's nothing else on the 64 thing, because I like, it worked with a lot of games, but it didn't work with those games that we talked about already. Mm-hmm. And those were the ones I actually really wanted.
It works. We use the NSO, the Nintendo Switch Online N64 controller via wireless Bluetooth adapter, and in the modern Mr. Core, they actually pre-bake that driver into the system, so you don't have to do any work. All you have to do is get a Bluetooth dongle, hit F11, and if you've told your N64 controller to look for a signal, it will set everything up for you.
Funnily enough, it's like, but B is the accept button.
Yeah, and the Mr. Menu level. Some insane person thinks you select things and you act out of menus.
God, it was so weird. Like, how is this so perfect and yet such an obvious mistake?
Dude, I have no idea. I don't know how they do that.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know how you make a driver for this and then set it up backward. You're like, yeah, I set the Mr. Menu to jump when you push up. And I'm like, wait, what? You did what? Yeah, I don't know. They need to fix that.
Oh, yeah, Killer Instinct also didn't work. But that one didn't work in a funny way, where we loaded into a match and then it loaded the duplicate of this character we were playing is to fight against and froze.
Yeah, I assume that also must lean on that same thing that isn't put in.
Mm-hmm.
But it was really funny that every time you would select a character, the enemy would become your character, and it would just render one frame of you looking at you with the wrong name tag on the enemy, and then just crash. That was really funny. But yeah, if you only care about the N64 somehow out of all this retro stuff, I would say this looks very promising, and someday it may get close to 100%. It isn't there right now, but trust me, the moment it's 100%, all of the people who are like you listening to this right now, they will buy it then. So maybe for supply reasons and price constraint reasons, maybe if this is your sort of thing, if this is how you think, get out ahead of that. Maybe get a Mister. I don't know. Hey, Bob, what else did we stream? I actually
can't
know,
remember.
but I'm going to see if you can remember.
On Friday, we did...
See, I always have this moment before we go live because I need to be sure I remember every stream.
Yeah, I'm usually pretty good about this, but it really didn't stick this time.
Is it because you've played it already? Is it because it's a game you own?
Oh, Mario Galaxy 2.
There we go. Yes,
Yeah.
that's right.
Yeah,
We played through.
even I forgot, and I'm normally pretty good about remembering what you guys played.
There was no Rosalina, so no one showed up to watch.
Yeah, chat got they settled it via democracy that Mario Galaxy 3 should have plus-sized Rosalina as the primary navigator.
They did decide that. I did not put that poll out, just to be crystal clear on this, but there was some discussion in chat, and then a moderator maybe made a poll, and Galaxy 3 has some
Not
big
even
standards
me.
to
I was
live
not
up
the
to.
moderator.
Yeah, that's true. Wait, are you a mod on my channel?
I think I am.
Okay, I think you are, but it's funny because like most of my streamer friends aren't. I realized at some point. I think it's just Vox and Chris. But it was neither of them. Just because now that I've name dropped Vox, I must also say Vox did not make that poll.
We did get one scene of Rosalina, but that was it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then she said, yes, with the funniest echo effect. And I was like, okay, making it a sound.
I don't know why she did that.
Because it was funny as hell. Mario Galaxy 2 is pretty cool. It still doesn't push the buttons in my brain like most 3D Marios do, of having a larger level that is non-linear that you explore through in order to get many optional stars. It in fact feels like it somehow goes even further away from that than Galaxy 1 did.
Yeah, I feel like both that and Galaxy 1 have the same problem. Like, it might be enhanced in this a little bit, but both of them kind of just don't do it right.
I mean,
so it really sucks that it took until Odyssey, like 10 years later, to finally do something like Mario 64 again.
My brain's like, was that only 10?
I don't know. It might have been more.
It's actually less, but it felt like more.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, like you can literally line up 3D World and 3D Land, and then Galaxy 2 is sitting between Galaxy 1 and like any 3D Mario that has that proper level built out, because they really did just crank it even further in that direction, because you know how many levels you'll be, and it'll just be like, is there an extra comet yet, or is there a comet here yet, is there a whatever here yet? A lot of times, no. Come back in like 10 minutes.
It seems like a lot of levels were just only 1 star, and then sometimes 2, and then all of them had the extra comet that was like not a real star.
And you have to get the coins in order to unlock the comets in order to go do that. And it's neat to play, and it's fun, and I enjoyed a lot. And frankly, even though I said on the stream I have no urge to go back and 100% this game, I absolutely felt that the next day. The only reason I did it is because I've been busy. It's pretty cool. I really enjoy Galaxy 2. It still isn't up there for me, along with like 64 and Odyssey, and Galaxy 1, frankly, because Galaxy 1 is once again less of the hyper linear. Like, it has that, but it's not nothing but that. Whereas this is basically nothing but that, but one level. There was the one level where it's like, oh, it's a big open thing. So I recommend people check out Mario Galaxy 2. Hey, Bob, how do they do that?
On the Wii only, because they won't port it because they're criminals. They're monsters. Why did they do this? They had a second game on the same platform that they just didn't want to bring over. It doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, I think that's cruel. I think that's cruel to anyone who loves this game.
NVIDIA didn't do all the work for them for that one.
But they could have.
But they didn't, I guess. So...
Well, they have to be able to sell this again with that one for $70 on the next Switch platform, which isn't real, as they claim in the news.
I still sit here and go, man, maybe Nintendo actually would like outsource a ray trace Switch to Mario 64. I feel like that actually, because of all these things coming together, that does just go enough. Because, you know, it's like the Link's Awakening remake, right? Where you just take the old game, you don't change a whole lot, but you give it new fancy visuals. And I'm like, maybe this is far enough in Nintendo's wheelhouse where they're like $60 for Mario 64. And I'm like, yeah.
Right.
Okay.
No question. They might add a level, Dan.
Yeah.
And that's enough.
It's kind of like if Square went, here's the bouncer again. And I'd be like, okay.
Yeah, but see, now the monkey's paw's going to curl and be like, yeah, but it uses all the same stars as DS.
They have to know better, right?
Maybe that would be okay. I mean, my number one problem with DS is it feels wrong. So if you made
and it has the stupid Donkey Kong 64
Yeah.
character swapping.
Yeah,
so
that
if they
takes-
rip both of those out.
Yeah, the Donkey Kong 64, and once again, it's supposed to be Mario's game, but it's Yoshi's game, really.
Yeah.
But if they made it a little bit less DK64, that would be great. But my number one problem really is just the control feel is wrong. It's just fucking
And
wrong.
if you're listening to this and didn't play Mario 64 DS and have no fucking idea what we're talking about, the DS doesn't have an analog stick, so you're playing Mario 64 with the same controls as Croc.
Yeah, it literally
It is tank
so,
controls.
so many of the physics have actually changed to be closer to Croc than the original Mario 64. It's really weird.
And what hats is like you can play as Mario, Luigi, and Wario and Yoshi. The hats are locked to Mario, Luigi, and Wario, like the metal hat, the metal cap, the wing cap, and the transparent cap. So you literally will be like, I can't get this star as this character. I have to go back.
Yeah.
Now that
To the
I've
room where I change.
Now that I've gotten all the way here, I see this cap and must exit the level and restart it after running to the lobby and changing who I am. Yeah, so if they could, put that in a menu instead of making me run to the lobby.
Yeah.
I mean, admittedly, you can enter any level as Yoshi wearing their respective cap, which I think you could then put another cap on top of that. But that doesn't matter because you can get that cap knocked off of Yoshi. So if you don't do it flawlessly, you'll still get hit and unbecome Luigi.
I mean, for anything that Yoshi could do that the other characters couldn't, you could just like put Yoshi in a backpack and carry him around with any other character.
No, this is a good idea. I'm liking where this guy's heading. Would he? Okay, so like, would I have an attack where I lean over and then Yoshi's tongue comes out and Yoshi makes a really funny sound?
Yeah, and then like spits out some eggs.
There we go. It's perfect. Aggro, you're such a smart game designer.
I really, really am.
But yeah, I hope they have a plan for Galaxy 2 at some point. I hope we get some fancy graphics version of Mario 64 for too much money.
Uh-huh.
Because I think that'll be fascinating at the end of the day.
I mean, they just did the huge graphics update for Mario RPG, so
Right.
it's totally
And that's
valid.
Right. So like that was like 1994 or something. And 2 years later with 64, there you go. Perfect.
Right?
Perfect. It's just lining up perfectly. It's all coming up Mario, which I guess is nothing new. Yeah, I don't know if I have anything else to say about oh yeah, I do have something else to say. Motion controls are a fucking scourge on the Wii.
Yeah.
That was fucking horrible. We have a clip where you could just see me do this as Mario plummets to the ground, not spinning for whatever fucking reason.
There just aren't enough buttons, Dan. We can't
If
just
they
put it on a
ported it
button.
to the goddamn Switch, I could have just hit Y.
Yep.
Why didn't they do it? I don't know. Why do they like this? Why do they hate me so much? I just want to play your Mario games on a modern platform with buttons. That's it. That's all I want.
It's asking way too much.
Yeah, I think there's more value in them doing some weird ray trace Mario 64 thing for $60 than Metal Gear Solid Delta, but I'm buying both, so I guess it doesn't matter. Ooh, look at this Unreal Engine 5 Solid Snake who's animating like a weird animatronic.
It's okay. That'll be $70.
Oh, that's true. Hey, Bob.
Hey, what's up?
I didn't play a whole... Oh, wait. No, we did play something else. This week, Bob,
Uh-huh.
we gave
Oh, yeah.
Super Bomberman R2 a chance.
We did that.
I'm really glad I get to do this. Oh, 1 second. I got to come over here to be like
Game code provided by
Konami. So let me put up here Super Bomberman R Space 2.
Man.
What we've been playing. Okay, so I got a game code a while ago, and I mean a while ago, from Konami to check out Super Bomberman R2, but between us getting sick and everything else going on and the move, the video got really delayed, so that's why this was nowhere near launch. Guys, I'm here to tell you that they made a really cool, fascinating, and fun story mode for Bomberman, and it seems like they didn't even market that.
No.
They didn't talk about it at all. It feels like they just went, look, we have the Battle Royale mode that you guys cared about. I'm like, they didn't, though. That's why that game's dead. It has almost all of the Konami skins and outfits for the Bombermen. So you've got like Solid Snake, Raiden, a bunch of other people.
Yeah,
but when it comes to the crossover stuff,
and it also is missing the Tokamiki Memorial one, which is the Konami.
Yes, that's true. That is the one Konami one I've confirmed is not there. But when it comes to the other crossover ones, like they're just not there. So no Master Chief yet, I would assume ever.
Right.
No Ratchet.
Who is their crossover exclusive for Stadia?
Coffin. Coffin Bomber. But when it comes to the story mode, it's really, really cool. Basically, I always want to describe it as, so Dynasty Warriors on the PSP. You all played it. We all love it. Of course, no one played that.
Yeah, I was like, not even Dynasty Warriors fans played it.
Largely played that, yeah. So imagine the levels in this game, which there are 3 giant worlds, are absolutely massive, and they have segmented Bomberman-like screens of just like, here's a field, and you go through it, and you blow up these blocks, and you get to places. They're interconnected via hallways and things, certain gates that you need to unlock, and you're exploring these worlds to find these alien creatures called Elons in order to power unlocking these things and unlocking puzzles. And some of the puzzles that you unlock are literally like logic tests where they don't tell you what they want. You just have to look at the arrangement of rocks and figure out like, what is the missing piece in these rocks?
Yeah, as far as like the world setup, I think I make a comparison to Monster Hunter pre-world. That's how it set up its worlds.
Yes.
So it's like actually just divided into sections.
Mm-hmm. So that way, you know, what do they call it? What is a Segway? A sentient Segway doesn't chase you across across the entire Earth like your Shocker. Mm-hmm. It's really cool. There's an experience system. It's a weird thing to say about Bomberman, but you blow up the blocks and you get coins. The coins count as experience. And as you gain the levels, you unlock the higher stats. So faster movement, kicking, bigger explosions, punching, throwing, the whole works. And it's just really cool to have this scale and that going on. It's really fun. I really, really enjoyed this. But then I saw there were only 3 worlds. And I was like, oh no. Because now my downsides are I wanted more level variety, like aesthetically. Mm-hmm. Like I want to have a Bomberman experience where it's like 5 different worlds and 5 different aesthetics, which is repeated across a lot of the games. I didn't want 3. And while it's fun, it feels like it's not going to be very long because it's only 3 of those worlds. Mm-hmm. That's my major problem. Elsewise, this is a really great Bomberman game. This is like honestly rising to the top of my Bomberman like choices.
It's crazy. But I guess, you know, for classic Bomberman, it seems like it's nailing a lot of things.
It's what? A lot of things?
Nailing.
Oh, nailing. Yeah, I mean, you say classic Bomberman, but it's like all of them ever except 64.
Yeah, exactly.
All of them but this tiny slice in time. And Bob's like, well, the classic style. And I'm like, that's when you did a thing 3 times across 4 decades. Or
look, they made the evolution and then just were like, it's a dead end. Let's stop.
I really wish they would continue that.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's got a really clever idea and a really fun idea for the story mode. I haven't even talked about the incredibly bizarre gameplay element they added in of castle attacks.
God, those castle attacks are so confusing.
You get so far through a world in this game, and then you get attacked by the evil aliens. So you need to prepare your death maze to defend against them getting your treasure. Why does it become no heroes allowed? I don't know, but it's really cool. I enjoy that. The attack mode, however, when you enter, because on the sides of these worlds, in these things you need to unlock and then run into, you attack their castle. And that's insane. That is the most crackheaded mode in a Bomberman because it's like you and your bomber siblings are all going to try to get this treasure. You can kill each other. There are only so many keys to unlock the treasure. Kill your sister. Take the key. You must win, because if any of your bomber allies gets the treasure before you, you would think, oh, well, the evil aliens were defeated. We're good, right? No. Do it again.
It seemed like there wasn't even a message of like what had happened when they won. Like,
no, they just went, oh, you suck. Oh, okay.
Yeah, like I wouldn't even note that I failed. I would just continue on.
Oh, I did that the first time, and I was like, really? We're just not because it looks the same. You exit the level and then it's still the same look on the map, and you've got a red icon there. And I was like, so obviously that didn't count. Okay. Completely deranged. But I really, really enjoy that. They should have marketed that more. This should have been Bomberman R2. This should have been a fresh new series for Bomberman that explored the story mode more. Because, man, the original Super Bomberman R came out 6 years ago. Then you did 1 or 2 online-oriented Bomberman Battle Royale things with it, aesthetically. Then you marketed this one as the multiplayer thing. Mm-hmm. Instead of this really neat idea for a story mode that you, yes, took some of the multiplayer mechanics from and infused them into gameplay segments in the story mode, but still, like, the structure there is cool. Also, I'm not deeply attached to or in love with the cast and idea of Bomber siblings.
Right.
I could take or leave it. Like, it's fine and it's enjoyable most of the time, but I'm not like, what a great story. I need to see the end. However, I do like them individually as characters. For example, Blue Bomberman's entrance phrase to a battle is him saying, "Oh man, I only slept 20 hours." And I'm just like, he's like me for real. But it's really good. I like Super Bomberman R. We did get a code, which means you can't trust anything I just said. This is a psyop. Did you know that Square Enix can't buy me for $70 twice over, but Konami could buy me for $50 once?
Whoa.
About Bomberman? So anyway, if anything I said interests you, go check out that video, give me a chance, Super Bomberman R2. See if that thing's for you. If it doesn't interest you, then that makes sense. It's Bomberman, and seemingly no one will ever care.
Yeah,
That's
how it feels.
That's how it feels for me.
But at least they're getting to make them. Like, Konami's not really putting out much else.
Yeah, no, I was shocked when that one came out 6 years ago and continue to be shocked that they keep doing.
Right? Like, they did
Bomberman.
get to Fumaden, got that new version, and then the shore just exited early access, and we've heard nothing since from more stuff or more things like it.
So there you go. It's done.
Yeah.
It's perfect.
I guess.
It's achieved its peak form. Does it even have English?
I mean, it's translated, yeah. It's
Okay.
not dubbed or anything.
But the original NES
Oh,
ROM
no, of
inside
course
of it
not.
is not translated at all.
not.
So a chunk of the game that is in this shipping game in
which
the United States.
I believe that that was only for if you bought early access. I don't think you even get it on the regular. Yeah.
What a cool early access thing. A thing I could go to any ROM site and get.
Uh-huh.
An untranslated NES
Yeah.
game.
Very cool.
Well, they're getting ready for the Dead Cells guys roguelike Castlevania that will all throw rotting vegetables at them as soon as they announce.
Man, I hope it's not a roguelike, because I hold in my brain the possibility. Because there's one thing I've learned from listening to postmortems from devs who make a big indie hit that was a roguelike. Almost all of them go, "We chose roguelike as a format because we couldn't afford to make a real game."
Mm-hmm.
It's a budgetary thing a lot of the time.
Of course it is.
Yeah,
It's like, well, we don't have the time to make 12 levels. We can make 6 levels and chop them into chunks that will procedurally slap themselves together.
Mhm.
So it's like having more levels. God, like so much of this new Konami stuff is like missing the point, World Champions, that I can't have that much optimism for the new Castlevania. Like, I think the Dead Cells devs could make a great classic or even Igavania style game. The
Mhm.
question is Konami smart enough to let them?
Yeah, I don't know if Konami's going to pony up the money to get them to do a full-fledged thing.
Yeah, I still want to play that DLC for Dead Cells with Castlevania and see how that is. Because I don't like the base game of Dead Cells that much, but it sounds like that does change a lot, and maybe the bosses will be designed in a more interesting way.
I was sitting there and thinking about it. Did that thing make it to normal retail, or is that only like weird retail? Not Dead Cells, the Castlevania version of Dead Cells. I can't remember if that was a boutique thing or like broad retail.
Yeah, I don't think it got regular retail. I know that it at least came to all platforms, like digitally, but I don't think it did a full disc release at like a GameStop or anything.
Yeah, because I was curious, because I definitely looked at the ability to buy a physical copy of that and went, I think that counts as a Castlevania game. I think I have to buy this. And then I just stared at it thinking about that. But yeah, Anyway, I said enough about Super Bomberman R. Here's an update I haven't engaged with, but I figure I should mention. It's definitely not what you would call newsworthy. Did you know they did that big update for Gran Turismo 7 like a week or two ago?
I saw that on news, and I didn't.
It has 4-player split screen.
What? I just saw B-spec mode stuff. I didn't realize that.
Yeah. Yeah, they also updated that AI. The one Sony was like, we're working with cloud technology in order to make the smartest racing AI possible. Sophie, this will eventually pilot a real car.
All right.
So, anyways, they updated that to work with more cars on more courses. So you can race against that. And that's pretty cool. I hear good things about that. Like from people who are really into Gran Turismo, that AI is apparently very good, actually.
Crazy.
Yeah, I'm interested. I want to check it out.
Did you see? This isn't related. This is only related to things driving cars. But did you see Tesla guys going? I've lost so much money. They promised I'd be making money by now because I could have it be doing Uber while I sleep via autopilot.
Oh no! You built your business plans over a thing Elon said?
Oh my God! What an idiot!
Yeah. Apparently, that Dead Cells Castlevania thing did make it to broad retail.
Cool.
That's great. Unfortunate, I now have to buy it because then I might want to play it. Whereas currently, I just go, that's a cool thing.
I sure hope you can just boot straight to that and not be like, you need to get to such and such level in Dead Cells.
That would be pretty funny, though.
Would
If it was like, fuck you, get to level 14 Dead Cells, and I'm like, I will, but I won't like it. Yeah, also it's a budget release because, Dead Cells is a great game, but it's pretty old at this point.
Yeah.
And it is a roguelike. Oh my God. What do you mean this is a limited price, Amazon? Oh, they're saying it's the lowest price in 30 days, $36 for the PS5 version. There you go. Add it to my prestigious small collection of PS5 physical games. Ratchet and Clank Rift Apart, Gran Turismo 7, Armored Core 6. Wrong version. Whoops.
Yeah, right. It's really easy to get roped into that.
Several more physical PS5 games than Dan.
I'm trying to remember what the number is for me. I think it's like 12. I think it's somewhere around 10 or 12. All my shit's in boxes. A thing that'll be solved soon. Holy shit. By the way, be excited. There is no way me moving into that house, the first thing you see of it isn't me in a living room with a PS5 box. Because of course.
I own 18 physical PS5 games. Most of them are not any different from the PS4 version because they're mid-tier Japanese games. They load slightly faster than the PS4 version would.
Yeah, I'm trying to think what my phone list is. Because a lot of the times I end up getting digital. Not all the time, but if I just go, yeah, I'm probably going to... Like, I don't have a physical copy of Spider-Man 2.
Right. We're going to get a digital copy of Call of Duty Modern Warfare 3, right?
I always buy physical because I'm always afraid, what if I just hate this?
What if I just light my money on fire with Call of Duty?
Yeah, that's fair. That's why I do it a lot.
But then some of it's like, yeah, I have the PS5 version of Grimoire Once More that totally needed to be on PS5.
Hell yeah. Yeah, for people who missed it, apparently the new Call of Duty campaign is so staggeringly bad, everyone is unanimously agreeing it is like the worst one ever made. And I'm like, how? It's been 2 years straight of that moment for me personally, and now we're all agreeing?
Right.
Uh-oh.
And some of them are going to downvote it, and some of them are going to downvote the wrong Modern Warfare.
Which is fine. Modern Warfare 3 was already like a criminal action because that was the one they made right after firing everyone at Infinity Ward. So yeah.
Oh yeah.
Go ahead. Downrate that one.
Perfect time to tell this story. A guy who works at a local gas station. I go there to just fill up my cup, and it's cheap. With soda. I don't know why I needed to say that, but I fill it with soda. Anyway, so I go to the gas station. This dude has had the whole time that I've seen him work there, so like the last year or two, the Modern Warfare 3 Jeep. And ever since earlier this year, where it came out, we're calling it Modern Warfare 3 again. I'm like, this dude doesn't know that he has a Jeep based on a game that comes out later this year. Because time is a flat circle. Like, it's literally like an off-roading Jeep, but it has the Modern Warfare 3 logo and everything on it. I'm like,
Great.
that's so fucking good. That's so fucking good. I wish I had that set up. I would have like done so many stupid things with that. Been like, yeah, look at my new Jeep. Brand new, motherfuckers. Based on the upcoming Call of Duty. Sorry, Kawa Duty. We all decided that's how it said. I called it
Kawa Duty.
Kawa Duty.
See, I always go with Call of Duty.
Kawa. But that's it. We also need to talk about the other important thing we did in the last week. Bob tried the donuts.
Yes, I tried the donut.
Bob tried the donuts. Turns out that donut place was not exclusive to the Newtown. It is, however, pretty East Coast exclusive. The chain's called Parlor Donuts.
Mm-hmm.
As you can see, Agro's still holding his from last week. Is that still good to eat, man? I don't...
Doesn't matter.
I mean, like, normal bread rules don't apply. I'm kind of like a fly where I just spit acid on it and then dissolve it into my hand.
You learn something new every day?
Is this like a week-long process?
Oh my God.
Bob,
Yeah.
maybe let's not ask questions, the answers to which we're not ready for. All right, buddy?
But yeah, the thing's basically like a cronut, but a little more structurally sound than I imagine most cronuts are. The inside's like chewing stuff. I talked about it plenty last week. But Bob, you got to try 2 different flavors, and neither of them were peanut butter and chocolate.
Right, which was a mistake.
Which I found out this time was a mistake because I also got 2 flavors that were not peanut butter and chocolate.
Yeah, the French toast one was labeled their most popular. I
Yes,
like,
it was.
Sure, I'll try that. I like French toast flavor
Yeah.
stuff that had a good list of ingredients.
Uh-huh.
And that was pretty good. And then there was a raspberry pistachio one I tried, and that was also pretty good.
That's right. I was trying to remember what your other one was because I ended up getting the French toast one and also blueberry. And the blueberry donut was like, I love blueberries. I love peanut butter and chocolate. Usually, in a lot of situations, they're interchangeable. The power gap between that blueberry donut and the peanut butter chocolate one, ridiculous.
Yeah, I need to go back and try this peanut butter chocolate one, apparently.
You know, maybe at the beginning of our day that we take a 4.5-hour drive to go get Jollibees because the closest Jollibees is in fucking Jacksonville, and it only gets further away when we move.
Uh-huh.
Because Jollibees is in so few locations. In case you've never heard of Jollibees, it is a Filipino fast food chain. It is huge over there. I think they said something like 1,500 locations or something insane like that in the Philippines.
Right, it's basically McDonald's of the Philippines.
It is the McDonald's of the Philippines. Fried chicken joint. Here's the thing, though. You get your Chicken Joy, which is the name of the chicken sandwich, but with the chicken joy, you also get the spaghetti. Agro Chris, do you know anything about the Philippines and their ideas of spaghetti?
I know it has shredded cheddar cheese on top of it.
See, that's the most sane part.
Right, that's
frankly.
the normal part.
Uh-huh. Agro, do you have any idea?
No.
So Tosh has prepared me for some of this because for people who don't know, my girlfriend of 12 years, Tosh is half Filipino.
That's how long the relationship has been.
Wait.
Not, in
My
fact,
girlfriend
the age
of
his
12
girlfriend.
years, not my girlfriend who's 12 years old. Those are
Jesus.
very different statements. Anyways, she's half Filipino, so she went to the Philippines. She came back. And she talks about like the cuisine and stuff over there. The red sauce, for some fucking reason, is really fucking sweet, like sugary sweet. So as I'm watching reviews of Jollibees and 2 different YouTubers go, oh, it's like Chef Boyardee, and I'm like, yeah, it's really sweet. And I don't notice because I didn't bring up the menu on my screen and zoom in. Like I'm looking across the room at the menu on Bob's screen. This motherfucking spaghetti has, what was it, beef, ground pork or ground beef?
Ground pork.
Slices of hot dogs.
Slices of hot
And
dogs.
something else, just all of the red sauce mixed into it, and it's sweet as hell.
Dope.
I'm so interested. I am so fucking interested. I need to know.
Yeah, the only other thing is that they are allegedly expanding out more in the U.S., so
It's true,
we
they
might
were-
be in a situation where, like, man, they build one within a year.
Yeah, well, we got to be the pioneers. You know, we're tastemakers.
That's true.
Unfortunately, we can't call our food YouTube channel GigaFoods because GigaFoods will bury that. So we got to come up with something else to call that channel. Tosh had a name. I hate it. Foodie boots.
Have you tried going with a name you hate yet? Have you like tried that attack on the algorithm?
You want me to go with foodie boots? Is that what you want?
Hey. Can't say everything's on the table if everything isn't on the table.
Well, everything's going to be on the table when we show up at Jollibee's and order literally everything on the menu. Because they, not only do they have these things we've referenced so far, but they have some really, really fascinating things. They have they just go, our hamburger patties are so good. You'll just want to eat them, slam down on the plate with gravy on top. Like,
Yeah.
you know.
It's not a hamburger, Dan. It's a Yum Burger.
Sorry, it's the Young Burger. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to. Sorry. Apologies. They also had some other things which were really fascinating, but I didn't commit to memory exactly what those are. But I'm very interested in Jollibee's, and no one can stop me. If there's one thing I figured out from making a round trip of 11 hours of driving or so, that was too easy, and now I feel powerful. Let me tell you, ladies and gentlemen, death streaming has made me strong. Because you know what I can do in a car that I can't do on stream? Completely disassociate and say nothing for hours. As it turns out, I can play copyrighted music. I can stare at the road and I can say nothing. My streams turned into that. They would be even easier to death stream. Be like, oh man, that guy's been going for 40 hours. Yeah, but he hasn't spoken in 8.
Yeah, do you ever get this thing where you're like in the store or something? You're like, how did I get here? I know I drove here, but I don't consciously remember any of the drive. Like, it's gone.
See, that's the thing. I always hear about people doing it. I'm like, yeah, every time I've had an experience like that, it's because I was literally passing out because I worked, what was it, a full hour of driving for my overnight job.
Yeah. No, I had that experience with going to work on too little sleep, and also was doing that for school. Like, whoa.
Oh, yeah, that happened a lot with school.
Because school was, started way too early.
Yeah. I guess that's the 6:30 a.m. effect. If you're driving at 6:30 a.m., because that's when I was coming out of my overnight job. That's when we would go to school. That's the effect. You're like on fast traveling. Whoa. There's like a loading circle you're seeing on your fucking windshield.
I hope nothing happened on my way here because I don't remember a single thing about it.
As the circle's about to fill, you see a human just go, and then it fades to black because you started fast traveling. Yeah, anyways, Parlor Donuts, pretty good. Jollibee's, I need to know.
But yeah, like Dan was saying, it is like a croissant. It is very croissant-like. Even has the more harsh, like burnt exterior to some parts of it, so it's all also completely hollow in those parts.
And that's why I keep telling people, like, Crumble doesn't stand to this at all. It doesn't step to this level at all because these donuts have texture.
Oh yeah,
they have nuance to the flavor profile and the texture. That's just it's Crumble offers you a fucking cookie. Like,
yeah, I mean, yeah, it's a cookie. What do you
fucking cookie? Well, I mean, this is a donut.
I mean, it's not even need a fucking Crumble cookie because they're like 900 calories each for a normal sized cookie.
It's basically a stick of butter.
A Crumble cookie?
Yes.
Oh yeah, it is.
Yes.
Straight up. It's
like they sell the official cutter that cuts it into 4 little bite-sized squares, each of which is 250 calories.
Allegedly one serving.
Yeah.
I just imagine the cooking videos for Crumble cookies. They're like, now slowly pour in the sugar and keep stirring. And then it's 3 minutes of that.
I like the theory because I think Crumble is a company that was founded by Mormons.
Oh, I didn't know that angle.
They can't have any other vices, but they can have 1,200 calorie cookies.
They do a very interesting dance. I knew Mormons who grew up on my road. So every time I would bump into a new thing as a kid with them of like, oh, you don't. Okay, but Diet Coke is... There are a lot of weird nuances there.
The only thing I know about Mormonism outside of the South Park episode, which I'm obviously not using as an actual source for anything because that'd be stupid.
Yeah, what sort of jackass would watch South Park and be like, yeah, Cartman's right. I'm going to tweet about this.
is because I feel like this is the one thing every boomer knows about Mormonism, and they love reciting whenever it comes up, is that they have special underwear.
They do, yeah.
I don't know what that looks like or what the context of it is or what the rules regarding it is. I just know they have special underwear.
All right.
This is all fresh to Bob.
Yeah, no,
Clearly,
I
we're going to have to do a GigaBoots investigative review in Utah or something. And
No, that's all right.
Yes.
We just need to never talk about it again.
Let's do the ultimate global religions tier list stream.
I am weirdly into an aggro idea. I shouldn't be. This is dangerous.
I can't wait to cancel the entire channel.
Everything was fine, and then we crossed the sea to go to any other place.
See, my favorite part isn't going to be the ranking. That's the icing.
Uh-huh.
It's the setup section where we have to decide what does and does not make the list. What qualifies as a religion.
Oh, wow.
Weird. You're sitting here. You've exiled the Church of Latter-day Saints, but you allowed Steam Deck fans? Is that really fair? I don't know how that makes sense. All right. Anyways, hey Bob.
Hey, what's up?
You excited to try that chocolate peanut butter donut?
Yes,
Because you
of
were
course.
saying the ones you tried were pretty good.
Yeah, they were pretty good. They weren't some religious experience like Dan had. I'm not going to go like crazy over it. I was like, yeah, this is a good donut.
So they don't make the list.
No. Just so we're clear.
Damn it. Yeah, I feel like the only donut I've ever tried from anywhere else that steps to the Parlor Donuts, especially the chocolate peanut butter, which there could be another flavor as good as that.
All right.
I haven't tried enough to know, but I'm shooting from the hip here, saying probably not. Is a completely fresh yeast ring donut from Krispy Kreme.
Right, like that's unassailable.
Those two are just like, if you're not gonna get this, then get this. If you're not gonna get this, then get this. That feels like in the world of donuts, doing anything else is wasting your fucking time and money. That's how it feels. I'm not a huge donut nut. I know the last week or so has probably really confused people.
Right.
They probably think I'm a fucking fiend for donuts, but I think we've eaten donuts like once on stream, and that was a blast course stream that went way into the AM, and we're like, go get some coffee. And the fucking donuts come with it.
I also tried that new Wendy's nacho whatever burger.
Nacho whatever burger? What is it?
Yeah, I can't remember the full name, but it's Wendy's. They have like 4 different versions of it. Oh, it's different amount of meat patties.
Okay, I'm gonna
The loaded nacho cheeseburger.
That's it. But they use like queso, and I believe it's like Fritos or something on top of it.
Yeah, it has like Fritos on top of it, and it has like one of those buns that has like cheese baked into it.
Yeah, the cheddar's like melted onto the burger, or onto the bread. But yeah, that was actually pretty good. I was surprised.
Should I use their stock photo or this random photo from a review? Because I feel like the random photo from a review is hilarious. I'm gonna put a link.
Sure.
I'm gonna put a link into the Twitch chat for this review. If you're watching on YouTube, it's apparently The Impulsive Buy is the name of the review site. But I just want to show you this burger in the real world. Oh my god! Bob,
Mine looked better than that. Mine looked better than that. That is sad.
That's been in the bag a while. That's not great.
Bob, why didn't you take any photos?
I was in a hurry.
You were in a hurry to eat this?
Yes, because it was today before podcast, and while I was trying to sign up for apartment.
Oh, it was today.
Yeah, that was surprisingly good. It's like got some. It's not like great queso melted cheese, but it's fine. Like it's way better than I expected from Wendy's.
I love. There's some energy of you being like, it tasted good actually, and me slowly zooming on this giant image of this gross looking burger. That's like, okay, let's look at Bob's likes on Twitter. Bob's like, I like this artist, and we're like, and just making concerned Marge sounds.
Yeah, I'm not saying you should even go seek it out. It's overpriced. But it was fine. It was way better than what I got from Wendy's last week, which was just a generic chicken sandwich from them, which has become worse than any chicken sandwich I've ever eaten.
How much was this burger?
That was $7. But I got
That is so much burger for $7. Look at this thing.
I got the 2-patty one.
You got the. Is this not?
I believe that's one patty.
It's such a mess. I can't.
right.
Yeah. Okay. So it's $7 just for the burger.
Yeah, well, $7.50 or so was for the double patty burger. Yeah.
Okay.
So yeah, it's overpriced, but it's way better than their chicken sandwich, which has become worse than McDonald's by a lot.
Yeah. I feel like you sound off in the comment section in the chat. I feel like everyone's known their chicken sandwich has been fucking bad for way too long.
Made me sick twice.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that. I actually legit forgot Chris told that story.
Yeah.
Yeah, like I gave it a second chance, and I'm like, no, I can't eat the chicken. I can't eat chicken sandwiches.
I can't do it.
I even stayed off their nuggets for like a decade. I'm like,
Yeah. No, if you
but I relented on that, and it's been mostly fine. But if I ever get sick from Wendy's again, no more Wendy's ever again. Like it's over.
Yeah, it's over at that point. I totally get that. To prepare me for Jollibees, I needed to set a bar. So we went to Popeyes to eat the fried chicken sandwich.
Yeah.
It's funny because as I brought it up throughout the week, just talking about Jollibee, I inevitably talked about Popeyes and their reputation. And as I mentioned to you and Lady Zeon and I think one or two other people, it's like, yeah, Popeyes, like, they have great food. When people rate the food, they rate it really highly. But apparently they are the worst rated customer service in the fast food industry.
Right.
And that has something to do with how they were structured as a corporation. They really gave a lot of power and freedom to the individual proprietors. So it was very funny when I went to that Popeyes, and that was a fucking, like, somebody falling down an escalator as the escalator goes up for minutes and minutes straight as I'm like, Can I get my food? Can I get all of my food? Okay, you just took some of my food back, but that was my food. Could I get that back? It was very weird. I've never had an experience, but it was very chill engaging with them on that. Whereas,
yeah,
I feel like the Wendy's would have been a fucking nightmare.
Yeah, every time I had to confront a Wendy's or a Taco Bell for a similar situation, that would have not gone well.
Oh yeah. I mean, I told you that the fucking Taco Bell I was at during the Paper Mario GameCube 1,000-Year Door stream, I thought a riot was about to break out because of how poorly that went. But yeah, Popeye's fried chicken sandwich is good. Allegedly, Jollibee's is going to be better.
Allegedly.
Which, it kind of makes sense that would be better because the Philippines fucking loves fried chicken, and this is their chain. There are like 1,500 or something in the country. So, of course, when they export the chain, it would have their peak chicken sandwich. I don't know, though. And I'm really excited to find out.
Yeah, what if the Yum Burger's better?
Dude, that one YouTuber ranked the Young Burger as the best thing on the menu. And he wasn't even just the burger. He meant, like, even in the gravy, pour the gravy on top. So tell me I'm not wrong that it's fucking adorable. It's literally adorable. It's a delight to go to a fast food place that's serving anything other than your standard, like, KFC thing. And be like, here's your side of gravy. Like, just getting a cup of gravy on the side of fucking whatever. That's great. I guess I should stop holding the podcast hostage as we continue to talk about food halfway through the what we've been playing.
Right, that's true. I haven't... the only thing I've played is more Disgaea.
Okay. Give me general, like, how's it going? How you feeling on it? I looked over a couple times. I thought I heard chat saying that's my mom.
Yes, there is a that's my mom moment.
Yeah.
That game's good, really good. I'm liking it a lot. But it is, like... If you ever played Disgaea, it's like, yeah, you know what you're getting.
Okay,
and
cool.
It's a good one of those.
Yeah,
Great.
Yeah, everybody I know who's really into Disgaea beat it and posted some variant of "We're so back" when Disgaea 6 was "It's so over."
Yes.
Yeah. But yeah, I keep getting distracted with, you can right now what your current power level is. You can have one character beat any map in the story mode. But what if you go to the item world?
Oh,
you could get
what if you're not strong enough?
Right. What if you get a random chance of getting this cake you're looking for in the item world? Then you could make a new class that you want.
Ooh.
Ooh.
Why did Disgaea 7 have to come out this year?
I don't know.
What if you defeated the final boss in one hit?
That's almost certainly going to happen. They added a bunch of... I don't know how long ago they did this because I can't remember. But every class now has their own special moves. Because before it used to be just they each are proficient or more proficient with a weapon, and the weapon has special moves.
Yeah.
But now you have those on top of each class, like the ninja or the kunoichi have a separate set of special moves. Every single class has these, and they're pretty neat.
Kunoichi means ninja. Editor's note.
No, there's the male and female ninja, and they have different moves.
Oh, okay. These are two different classes. Sexist video game.
They're now, I believe there's two different classes for, like, every class has two genders.
Yes, that's true.
So
Yeah.
Each one has their own moves.
Because I remember one of the things people were complaining about with Disgaea 6 is that, like, it just, they went, nah, this one's, the knight's a boy.
Yeah.
Like, they did
something
that.
like
that's
that.
'cause
That sucks.
it's like we're making all new assets. We can't just use the same ones we've been using for, since the PS4 came out. So I guess we better, or not the PS4. They switched. Disgaea 3 still had PS2 quality assets, but then they switched into Disgaea 4.
Yeah, and that was late PS3.
Yeah, so for a decade they basically used the same sprites, and it's 3D's hard. We gotta cut some of them.
Yeah, but now that's all back, and it like
We're
Chris
so
said,
back?
it seems like we're so back.
What a cruel year for it to have come out during.
Yeah,
I'm like, I haven't even touched Star Ocean 2.
yeah. No, I can't. I'm not letting myself touch our ocean
Until you
get
get to the okay. For me, it's until we get to the fucking other state.
No, I need to beat this game. I'm not going to leave this guy unfinished.
I'm gonna enter a fugue state once I boot Star Ocean 2, and that will be the only thing that exists. So I need to not have all of these emails and things I need to deal with.
And there's also a full set of DLC for Disgaea, like a whole season pass, that I think it's like really way too expensive, but it seems like it's all the post-game content, and I'm not sure if there's any post-game content without it, which I'm scared of.
I assume there's some. Usually that shit's like get this character from the other game, and here's a map where you recruit them. It's not as much the post-game stuff. Like, it's one element of the post-game stuff, like, expanded is what it usually is.
Okay, because I saw online, or I saw all the downloadable ones was like all of these characters from the old games, and usually the post-game stuff is a lot of that. So it's like, will I just not get anything after I beat the game? Maybe there's regular maps that are more just oriented to more of this story, but I don't know. It'll be weird to beat the game, but won't be able to immediately just go get Laharl.
Yeah. Last food thing. I would like to know. You had the observation yesterday while we're out there of like, this one street has like all the fried chicken out here in Fort Walton. And I'm like,
yes.
Oh shit, that's convenient. You get to start driving for that street and you decide on the way which one you want. You know? That's convenient. Anyways, I'm done. Bob, did you have anything else?
No, that was it.
And that's all you've been playing?
Yep.
I'm going to take a moment to be like, is that all I've been playing? Because I think that's true. I keep pushing off the Sokoban Experience 2023 until I move. I still haven't played Starfield. I'm also pushing that off until I move. I played Les Mills Body Combat in VR. I would not recommend doing that after not sleeping enough, eating fried chicken, not hydrating properly, over caffeinating, and then just going for the hardest workout you could select. I would not recommend that. Just a heads up.
Yeah.
Hey, Chris. What have you been playing?
So I streamed Brutal Legend, a game that long plays and how long to beat told me was 9 hours long, and then I came on to Big Thing to Mention and said I do that, and Bob said that game I think I heard is really short, so you could probably beat it in one stream. That game's 4.5 hours long.
Whoa! I thought you just were like, I'm going to split it, like this is Constant's decision.
Granted, I didn't do any side content, but also there didn't seem to be any reason to. Like, you get like an upgrade currency, but it's all like upgrades for the main character, who doesn't matter because it's actually an RTS.
Right. So you're not the only unit. You're just one guy, and then there's the whole battle.
And it doesn't seem like most of the upgrades like were meaningful. It's like, you do more damage doing this. You get chain lightning on your axe. And I'm like, okay, but you gave me an AoE that kills every enemy around me that I can use like every 20 seconds. So what's the point? So I just didn't do any of the side content. Tim Schafer should be in jail. Like, this game sold, I think they officially reported 1.4 million, which isn't terrible for like 2009 when it came out. This game would have sold twice that easy if it just hadn't been an RTS. Because it's carried entirely by the main character's Jack Black. It has all these licensed songs. Tons of rock and metal stars are in the game as voice actors. Like Ozzy Osbourne is just an NPC.
Yeah.
And
yeah,
like literally Ozzy Osbourne. It's Ozzy Osbourne. That's the joke.
Right. Yeah. That was what made me kind of want to play it, but then it's not
And it's weird because it like starts with like the God of War-esque set piece.
That's
And
what
then
the demo is. Yeah.
And the demo like stops right before it becomes an RTS, which takes like an hour and a half.
That's crazy.
It's like, okay, here's your God of War set piece. You have a hot rod car with like guns. Go do a couple missions, and a couple of those missions introduce like Overlord-esque RTS stuff. Like you have guys next to you that will fight with you. But it isn't until a ways in the game where it just becomes an RTS where it's like capture these points that give you resources, build these units from a radial menu, tell them where to go.
Wow, yeah, I didn't know it went full RTS. I thought it stayed at the Overlord thing. I didn't know it was just fully. Does the camera even pull out and you select them?
Yes, or? you get like a devil. You get like demon mode where the main character like grows devil wings and flies up into the air, and that's like your oversight of the map that lets you make orders and you can swap back and forth.
Activate devil trigger to switch to a much less fun genre.
It's really and also the game's just insanely hollow.
Yeah,
like it legitimately feels like, imagine like a storyboard for the game's whole story. Then they get told they don't have as much money, so they just take random cards from the storyboard and just pull them down. Because the opening of this game is like the roadie Jack Black. I forget the fucking main character's name. Doesn't matter. Jack Black. Jack Black is a roadie. I thought he died in the opening. He gets crushed by a thing, and then he wakes up in like heavy metal land. And I'm like, oh, it's an isekai story. Then like 3 hours into the game, they just start talking about time travel.
What?
Like, no, they just say, like he finds out that his dad was back here and was a big cool guy. And he's like, I guess my dad also did time traveling. I'm like, we haven't said a single fucking thing about this being time travel. Not once. It just came out of nowhere. And people said, well, if you go around and read the lore stones in the open world, you can see all the parts of the story we ripped out.
The lore stone. No, it's really good.
So
Download
it just comes
the
out of
Lore
nowhere.
Stone
It just,
app.
Yeah,
it just
download the
comes out of nowhere.
Lore Stone.
I genuinely like got like lightheaded. Like I got confused. Like I'm like, I've paid pretty close attention to the cutscenes because they're usually relatively funny. Why is it time travel now?
Because it's fucking hilarious.
Because you're like in heavy metal, like Metalocalypse,
Mad
Conan
Maxian sort of.
land.
Yeah. There you go. Mix
Like,
Mad Max and Conan.
Like, and in the opening of the game, they taught like Jack Black has a conversation with another guy where he's like, "You ever feel like you were born too early? No, too late. You ever feel like you were born too late? Like you should have been born in the early 70s because they're metal boomers."
Yeah, I remember that being in the ad. I remember that conversation really well.
Hey, they know their demo.
So it doesn't. It like it's obviously Earth, but then you go back in time to the heavy metal dimension. It feels unnecessary.
Do they say when it is? Is that what the early 70s is
No.
like?
No, that'd be funny,
Canonically,
but they
that would be really good.
that would have been funnier, but they don't say that. Yeah, this is a game that is carried entirely on the fact that Jack Black is really fucking charismatic.
Of course.
No matter what you have him do, he knocks it out of the park. And it's just loaded up with licensed songs. Like it plays one in almost every single mission.
So how's that VOD coming?
I haven't looked at it. I recorded it on my end, so maybe I'll just throw it on Twitter like live or die.
On Twitter?
No, on YouTube.
Okay. You said Twitter, and I was like, wait, how big of things can check marks upload?
That
Can
would
we
be-
upload?
That'd be very funny.
That would be fucking unhinged. That'd be the only reason I would ever sign up for Twitter Blue. Is like, yeah, upload a 10-hour video.
Can you upload it on TikTok?
But yeah, Jack Black's the main character. The villain is Tim Curry.
Oh my god!
I didn't know that.
It's got all these. It's got all these other all these like big metal stars as voice actors, and it's just all ruined because of that RTS shit. Like it's not fun.
Yeah,
It controls really badly. You don't have fine control over your units.
there's no way you fully flesh out an RTS in the game's under 4 hours, or sorry, under 5 hours. Like you could just tell that from the basics of what you said.
I don't know. I played StarCraft 64, and I was done with that in under 5 hours.
Like, I repeatedly asked chat is the strategy just to build the biggest unit, as many of the biggest units as it'll let you, and just walk into their base? They're like, yeah, that's pretty much what they expect you to do. And like, it feels simultaneous, like it's frantic because you're not actually that far up above the combat. So
Yeah.
you have to manually fly all over the battlefield to keep track of things. And it just isn't very fun.
Yeah, I'd say based on the clip I was watching, you're something like 2 or 3 times more zoomed in than StarCraft, like original. So you're not really seeing a ton of it.
Right.
But the maps are also really small, like really small.
Really.
So it's not that big a deal. Like, I think there's lots of things in the game that are clever. Like, there's so much stuff that's clever from we're telling a goofy parody story about rock music. Like, the first antagonist, like the first arc's antagonist, is like a hair metal guy who's obviously supposed to be who's the douchebag from Poison that was Rock of Love, that stupid fucking reality show. I don't remember, but the lead singer of Poison, who looks like him. He has the bandana and he's wearing like glitter makeup. He flies around with like his hair forms into wings.
People are saying Brett Michaels?
That sounds right.
Okay.
And then the second arc is like you're fighting like the emos. So like their base unit are guys with guy liner on and striped shirts and torn jeans. Because they're the cult of the Black Tears.
Oh.
I think Dan's being scared away by this.
And like, it's just, man, you should have just made a fucking action game. What's wrong with you? You wasted all of this with your bad genre choice.
Yeah, people in chat
Like-
are saying it started as several different genres too, so I'm not surprised. It's just a complete mess.
Like and you know what, Tim Schafer, you said you wanted to make Brutal Legend 2. Go ahead, make it an action game.
Oh yeah, I'm sure anyone would sign up for that.
Like if Brutal Legend 1 had just been a action game, even a bad action game.
Mm-hmm.
Like you just progressed through these levels linearly and mashed the button and hit guys and did or made it like a even a bad Zelda like, because you get different songs for the guitar that have Ocarina of Time-esque effects.
Yeah, we need
And you
Tim
have the
Schafer's
overworld.
Darksiders.
That's what I was about to say. Like this presentation and cast on top of Darksiders, 5 million in sales easy.
Yeah, I feel like if they had even just stuck with the genre of Psychonauts and made like a mildly actiony 3D platformer thing out of this, it would have done really well. But
That's what everyone expected because they know Tim Schafer and they know
Right.
Psychonauts.
right, And they don't know
released that
anything fucking
demo
else.
that stopped
Right.
right before they got to the point it became a bad RTS.
And at that point, I'm just like, we were there. We were there trying that demo, and then you hear that about the final game, and I'm never spending money on that final game because of that.
Yeah.
Like, I don't trust you. You broke my trust by making your demo completely deceptive.
Yeah, I was expecting something much better than this. I was expecting an Overlord like first. Like I wasn't expecting the full RTS mode at all. I was expecting, okay, people say RTS, but it's really just like Overlord. But no, man. And it's like so hollow that like a couple of your units get like real introductions and they show up in cutscenes and say things. And then the rest of them just kind of end up in your roster unceremoniously. Like it really feels like Vivendi pulling the plug. If you don't know Vivendi, this is going to be published by Vivendi. Bobby Kotick was part of the people who canceled it because the internal testers went, this looks like shit. Also, it's over budget and has missed every road mark. We should cancel it.
Reading the original quote, it sounds like, because Kotick's all the way at the top, it sounds like there was a manager for the project. Kotick never even fucking saw it, but those people were just like, he's late, he's never hitting any of his milestones, and it's terrible. And then Kotick's like, yeah, so it got the X because of that.
They got the X and EA picked it up.
Yeah.
And there was some litigation between Vivendi and EA over it. I don't entirely understand the specifics of it.
Because for people who don't know, Vivendi fused with Activision around that time. That was the beginning of that. So it was all very complicated.
Yeah, there was some kind of litigation that like took Tim Schafer's time away from development, which he apparently wrote the entire fucking game, like all the dialogue and everything. Which there's not that much, so that totally makes sense.
That's really depressing.
So yeah, and it just came out empty and hollow. And apparently EA, like Tim Schafer insists that EA told him 100% start work on a sequel. We're gonna run this sequel. It'll be great. And then like 6 months in, they went, we're not doing a sequel. You're canceled. And that's what decapitated Double Fine. Like that knocked them out of retail games down into like the $10, $20 downloadable things they were in pretty much until Psychonauts 2.
Yeah.
Like they got the little bit of a reprieve from Kickstarter from the Broken Age, which people kept saying in chat, Broken Age is even more unfinished than this, and I don't see how.
I don't either. Like, that seems impossible to me conceptually.
Yeah.
You know what I want, though? I want the director of Days Gone to be stuck in a room with Tim Schafer, and for Tim Schafer to bring up Brutal Legend and be like, I got the short end of the stick. They promised me a sequel. I was months into making it. It's just like, my game sold millions. Everyone who was supposed to like my game loved it. And they fired me, Tim. And then Tim's just like...
And then Tim's like, didn't you like scream slurs at people so many times they had to keep telling HR to talk to you?
And then he confirms this story by then screaming slurs at Tim Schafer. And that's why I want them in that room.
But yeah, I should also say this is the only Double Fine project I think uses Jack Black well at all. Like his role in Psychonauts 2 is like almost a total waste. And I haven't played Broken Age. I know he's in that. I can't imagine it's anywhere near as appropriate as the heavy metal roadie decapitating a demon and screaming "decapitation" as loud as he can.
Yeah. I mean, like, I never touched the game. I remember when the bait and switch happened. I still go rewatch the intro cutscene because it's just such a great bit with Jack Black in it.
Yeah.
Yeah, like, first of all, fucking, if you're getting Jack Black for your game, he better just be the main character. What are you doing? Like, what's wrong with you?
I'm sorry,
Like,
Elijah Wood's star presence at that time was just so much stronger than Jack Black's.
Yeah, and that's another thing that pisses me off about this game is like Schafer. Jack Black is maybe the only person I can think of that a studio goes, our main character is this actor, and people go, hell yeah, instead of like, I don't feel like Hollywood star power translates over to games in very many instances, and I think Jack Black is one of the few times it did.
They nailed it 3 times in a row with Xehanort. Every time they announced that, we were like, "Oh shit, I'm really interested."
Like, you want to know how
Well, the
exciting
game, I
Jack
don't
Black
think,
is?
though.
If they had announced Cyberpunk starred Jack Black,
Oh my god, that's a different timeline.
right? I'd have heard about the
Aggro
launch and
would've-
still bought it.
And Aggro would have Terminator walked through 400 crashes to see Jack Black, Johnny Silverhand.
Because they still modeled him to look like Jack Black.
Right? That'd be really good.
But yeah, it's just frustrating to see like a game that has all the right pieces aesthetically and tonally and presentation wise, and be like, well, we made it the worst genre, literally the worst genre we could have made it.
And it's weird to think we just mentioned all these celebrities that were actually like really cool, you know. And then Kiefer Sutherland's out there as fucking
I
solid.
knew it was gonna be him.
Yeah, of course it's about Venom Snake.
That is one of the worst like lead role ones. The only thing that competes is all those awful things they do for Mortal Kombat.
Yeah,
Like-
it's literally in that echelon.
It is like his
Yeah.
performance is much better than those, but it's still bad,
Yeah,
and it still doesn't hold
Yeah,
a
it's
candle
like-
to the real voice actor of Solid Snake.
right.
Yeah,
It's true.
It's not like fucking Venom Snake says much of anything in that fucking game anyway, so I guess it doesn't matter. Like he does, like there's not lots of funny codec calls with characters in that game.
It matters immensely.
There is an entire mission that's nothing but remember the old days, and it doesn't work at all.
I didn't remember that mission at all. I blocked out a lot of Metal Gear Solid 5. The only thing I've really retained is how funny it is. And this is intentional because Kojima is funny. Even if people don't give him enough credit for being funny. Where Skullface is like, here's my highly recited speech to you, Venom Snake. Oh shit, it didn't last as long as the car ride. We just have to stare at each other. Here's a vocal song kicks in.
That was the best part of the game.
See, Chris was playing Metal Gear Solid 5, right? And he gets past that intro bit that's really fucking great. And then the fast travel circle starts coming up, and he doesn't remember how he got to the credits. But he got there.
See, at the time, I didn't like that intro at all because it's so fucking long.
No,
I
that
wonder if I
intro's
would like
the
it
only,
more
it's the
revisiting.
only fucking worthwhile part of that fucking godforsaken game. It
The
fucking writes a check that none of the rest of the game cashes.
Other worthwhile parts of Metal Gear Solid 5, pretty much any cutscene Huey's in because he's so pathetic.
I mean, yeah.
There's just something really funny about Keither Sutherland and Venom Snake like drunkenly pulling the knife out of Liquid Snake's hands, being like, we don't use weapons on comrades. Like,
Why
fucking
is it
Senor
fucking
Card
Senior
Gauge
Card
Snake.
Gauge?
That's how that's how Venom Snake sounds in my head. Like he sounds like Senor Card Gauge.
You can't be waiting, come on down to Electropon.
That and just Skullface screaming when Psycho Mantis shows up. Gameplay wise, everything about that game is bad.
Gameplay wise, I really enjoyed that game. It's not a fucking Metal Gear game. It's a really good other thing.
Like I don't want to do open world stealth. Like you can make all the videos about funny interactions with all these gadgets if you want, but I'm like, okay, but the levels are bad.
Right, like I enjoy it. I even enjoyed the levels and I enjoyed the mechanics. I don't want, it's like the Zelda thing between Breath of the Wild and a traditional 3D Zelda and how big that divide is, but even bigger. It's just like, oh cool, open world funny things with the fucking powers you have instead of a structured dungeon.
Yeah, it really.
But it's 10 times worse because the story was supposed to interweave throughout the
Yeah,
fucking
and it just
level
doesn't.
design. And
Like
it's
if
just, it's
those
fucking
levels
terrible.
had
It's
story in
terrible.
them at all, that would sure be a completely different game.
That is fucking unrecognizable compared to what that game is. Anyway.
There's one other thing that has occupied all my remaining time other than that stream.
Oh, what could that possibly be?
So Star Ocean, the second story, R came out, game code provided by Square Enix.
Game code provided by Square Enix.
Here's my one sentence review of Star Ocean: The Second Story R. Star Ocean: The Second Story R will make your parents get back together.
Oh my god! Do I want that?
It's hard to. I don't think there has ever been a remake like this, like there's the Resident Evil style remakes where it's more of a reimagining with really high fidelity, and then there's the more traditional remakes. I've never played one that was this right about everything. Like, first of all, we told so many jokes, so many elbowing each other, being like, wouldn't it be great if you made a game where you could only see certain sides of things so it could look fucking unreal? Well, they did that.
Yeah, that's a very real thing. Turning the camera's overrated compared to looking gorgeous.
Something I didn't expect is, the first game, pre-rendered backgrounds, PS1, it's separated into screens, obviously. Like, a town is multiple screens, a dungeon is multiple screens. That's not the case anymore. It's all one screen, and the camera will move in a very specific pattern to change the angle you're looking at it from, which is really cool and also wildly disorienting if you really remember the old dungeons. But it looks so immaculate.
Yeah, it does.
It's like, you can tell it's 3D graphics. It's not perfect, but it looks really close to just being a diorama. Like, these sprites are running around on a really high quality diorama.
Yeah, they nailed it. It's you look at it, it's like, oh, that looks immaculate. Oh, those are Switch button prompts. This is how it looks on the Switch. And then you get to see it on PS5, and then you're like, oh,
holy shit. So every fucked up thing you can do in the game to become unbelievably strong is still there.
Good.
In many ways, it's easier to become unbelievably strong. They added new mechanics you can use to become unbelievably strong. So here's something there were some mechanics in the base game that were effectively pointless. As an example, there was a skill that you could learn once the party was good enough at these specific things called Bunny Call. And all it did was the party stands around yelling, "Come here, bunny," on the world map, and eventually a bunny shows up for you to ride, like a chocobo.
Fantastic.
And it was worthless. It was completely worthless. It would let you cross mountains.
Ooh.
But that didn't have any purpose. There wasn't anything over there. There was no point in the game where it would let you skip something or get to something easier. The only use was you won't get into fights if you're on the bunny.
Oh.
But in this version, they added treasure chests to the world map.
Ooh.
They added treasure chests to the world map. They added super bosses to the world map that just sit on the world map and wait for you. There's an entirely new fishing mini game now.
Ooh.
So you can find special fishing spots via it. And they also added something that I've wanted games to have forever, which is, they're called I forget what they're called specifically, but it's like, here's a point where we show you a cool vista and you get experience and skill points from discovering this vista.
Yeah, I've seen that in a few things.
And there's some of them on the world map, and there's some of them in really hard to reach corners of dungeons that you have no reason to go to.
Nice.
So most of the really memorable things from the pre-rendered backgrounds have been turned into these focus points.
Cool.
So they retained all of that. The other thing is they added Marvel assists to the game. You can get all the other Star Ocean protagonists as these Marvel assists.
Oh my god.
You get these things called Jim, like the character's name Jim, and then they get added to your because it's set to the D-pad, and you just hit them in the middle of a fight, and the character will pop out and do a Marvel assist. Like they'll do a move to extend your combo, or keep the enemy and hit stun it.
Holy crap!
And you can set them to any of those characters whose gym you have, or you can set them to characters who aren't in your party, like the characters who aren't on the front line.
Oh.
And if it's a character that isn't on the front line, you can even assign which of their abilities they'll do.
So what you're saying is that there is new pixel art made of Edge Maverick?
Yes. There's
Beautiful.
a lot of new pixel art in this game. There's an unbelievable amount of new pixel art in this game. Because your party follows behind you on the map now.
So
Like they're like
what do you mean you fucking made pixel art?
your mainline party is behind you now. They follow you around like other RPGs, which when they didn't in the original. They have idle animations, which are really smooth, and none of which were in any previous version of this game.
Huh.
I don't feel safe anymore. Like Edge Maverick escapes. I didn't expect that. No, I actually feel discomforted by the fact that motherfucker's just ripping through Star Ocean 2 to go, you!
Yeah, I hear this is made by a lot of people from old Tri-Ace, like worked on 2 and 3.
Oh.
I'm going to be real. Star Ocean 7 should be made by this team, and it should look like this.
Absolutely.
It doesn't need to have the same mechanics, but it needs to look like this and be this fidelity and be made by these people. Dan, you watched the terrible Star Ocean 2 anime. I have a question because spoilers, not actually spoilers. It's not, I don't know why I said that. It's not actually spoilers, but you can't tell any of the actual characterization in the PS1 version at all. The translation is too bad. Like none of it comes through at all. But it did, but the PSP version retranslated, and I presume that's the exact same script they used for this because they used the voice lines from that.
Right.
Yeah.
Is Claude an incel in the anime?
He's many things, but I don't think I would say he was an incel.
I think there's a little bit of incel energy off of Claude anime.
I feel like
Because-
Dragon Guy's right next to him. So
right,
it's
so
like,
that's all encompassing, sure.
it's like, is Chaosu a Z fighter? And I'm like, yeah, Chaosu's there.
Because like I boot up this game and I'm like, why is Spike Spencer Claude?
Because that's perfect. He's the
and I'm
anime
like, this doesn't
sci-fi
seem
protagonist of the
This
90s we all love.
This doesn't seem like it fits. And then we get to these scenes where he gets really there's like scenes where he gets bizarrely possessive over the heroine to the point she's like, what the fuck's your problem?
That I do.
And I'm like, oh.
yeah.
Yeah, there's a certain Nadesco energy to the main character, Star Ocean 2, almost like it was based directly off of him.
See, okay, what I thought is because since the comedy comes out a lot more in this, which is very Slayers-esque, I'm sitting here thinking, am I gonna have to watch Lost Universe just to confirm that it is not Star Ocean?
Yeah!
I was sitting here watching Dan think, how can I mention Lost Universe now?
Yeah.
And you fucking got there before it.
Someone else in the last week's like, I just realized it's canon to Slayers. And I'm like, yes, it is. You should watch all of it.
And Ashton, the dragon guy, by the way, he's not
Yes.
an incel. He's more like everything for me goes wrong and I bruise easily. That's like all his dialogue.
It is, yeah.
It's like, woe is me, I bruise easily.
Doesn't he fall in love as a child?
Oh, that's right.
No,
In the anime,
no.
he sure
He
does.
Well, I think he's 18 and she's 16, so it's not that weird.
Okay, in the anime, she looks
12.
Yeah, she's kind of petite, but in this game, she like her in the PSP dub, she just sounds like a 25-year-old Valley girl.
That's funny as
Good.
shit. That's hilarious. Yeah, no, in the anime, you would not assume she's.
No, I don't think it ever comes up what age she is.
It's like, you
But
seem
it-
really
it-
smitten for this person.
And I believe that Claude even makes reference of her being too young.
Yeah, no,
So it's
there's
a
a lot
lot
of
of,
Claude
like-
being like, hey, buddy, maybe stop following her before the cops show up.
Yeah, meanwhile, in this, every single one of their private actions is her trying to get on Claude's dick.
I mean, that's awesome.
Yeah, that's the anime too.
They cover that.
This is a tiny. Here's how fucking in the people behind this port are. So at the start of the game, this isn't really spoilers. Claude has his Star Trek, his phaser. It's a phaser, and you can use it in fights, and it completely eviscerates anything you shoot it with because it's a fucking phaser. Anyway, like 30 minutes into the game, it runs out of juice, and he's like, "Oh fuck, I can't use it anymore." And then in this version, 30 hours into the game, when you get to what would be disc 2 in the original version, you go to this other place and this guy's like, "I fixed your phaser for you. It works again." And you can put it back on the special attack buttons.
What?
All right.
Yeah. So that's because in every script, when it runs out of power, he's like, "I can't use it for a while." And then you never get to use it again. And in this version, they go, well, they fixed it, so you can use it again now.
Jesus.
You can they split skill point. They split the skill system into 2 skill systems. One focused on things that trigger in battle, and one that is your crafting skills. They made the crafting skills much more transparent, which makes it much easier to become broken. And in fact, if you open up the crafting skill that lets you make like counterfeit money and things that artificially boost your experience, a prompt will literally pop up and say, "This skill breaks the game. We're not going to stop you, but we are going to tell you."
Ooh, that's really good.
It did this thing where it's like, "This skill's really powerful. We're going to add a small downside." And then I go, and they go, "But we give you a way to circumvent the small downside." And I go, "Oh, okay, that's fine then." So yeah, skills. They also they fixed the flow of many things. Like in the original game, you upgraded your special attacks by using them a bunch. It was one of those. In this, you use the skill point, the battle points. It's battle points and skill points. The battle points to just upgrade them in a menu if you want the higher version.
I had to go look it up because I remembered in the back of my mind, Bob and I had the conversation, and it's static. The first few lines are static, and then the conclusion was me going, "Wow, I can't believe this developer made 2 games that are on my top 10 games of the year list this year." So I forgot what the other one was, so I had to go look it up. And it's Keys in a Eye, Touch the Beat, the VR rhythm game. Yes, on PSVR 2 this year. What a fucking chasm, right?
They made the world map a lot bigger, which I guess makes sense because you don't want it to be these tiny little areas, with your big fancy graphics. They also made dungeons a lot fucking bigger. I sure got lost many times because if you take a maze that's made of screens and turn it into one continuous thing, it's a lot harder to mentally map out.
Yeah, segmentation's important for your brain to remember things.
I do have one tiny little criticism of the game. I think they made the dungeons a lot more drab. I think the pre-rendered backgrounds had much wackier color choices because, they needed to look distinctly different from the character sprites. And I think in some cases the dungeons look more boring, but they kept all the cool things I remember from the pre-rendered backgrounds as those like focus spots. They also dramatically altered the combat. Specifically, you have a combo now, which you didn't have in previous versions of the game. I might be misremembering, but I'm pretty sure you didn't.
Yeah, it was just like a single hit, combo. Right?
Yeah, now it's a 3 hit. Now it's 3 hits.
Okay.
So they had to make sprites for that. They added like a whole system with like a break gauge, where like you attacks can deal HP damage and break damage, and they can be more focused on either. So some special moves are focused on breaking them, and some are focused on dealing HP damage. And when they break their defense, you ignore their defense, and they're stunned for like until their gauge refills.
So it's a stagger bar.
Yeah, pretty much. They added this mechanic called leaders, which was not in any previous version of the game, where sometimes you'll go into a fight and it will be a group of random enemies, but one enemy will just be double sized. And that enemy is the leader, and he either buffs them or debuffs you. But if you break the leader, all of them get broken.
Neat.
Cool.
Dan, do you remember what the special move that Claude uses throughout the entire anime was?
Is it the one where describe it?
They pull it out every episode. Don't worry, they didn't really do a good job animating it. So
he swings a sword and a wave comes out.
Air slash.
Was it only air slash?
I think it might
thought
have. I feel like it did have some incredibly simple name.
We
like
were
that.
just laughing at it because it was so lame, and they
Right,
were like, "This is
like,
the cool moment for this episode." Every episode,
the entire series.
Yeah.
So, is there more than air slash in this game?
Yeah, you get air slash, you get meteor palm, which is a Gatling gun punch, you get helm splitter, which is he jumps up into the air and then does helm splitter on them. You get tear into pieces.
Tear into pieces.
Where he swings the sword down and it makes a big ring of like jagged rocks pop up under him.
It's pretty cool.
Nice.
It's a lot cooler than air slash. Admittedly, all of these are cooler than fucking air slash in the anime, Bob.
Be glad we were not doing a Wii Boomers for that.
Yet.
They added a lot of quality of life features. You can fast travel now between any place you've been to. You can see when new private actions are on the map.
Oh, wow.
They made pickpocketing much better, which I did not expect them to do. In the base game, you walked up to somebody, you hit square, you either get an item or they notice you're trying to rob them and then scold you. In this, you get 3 chances to rob them, and they have 3 different items, and you have an item that resets your chances to steal from them.
Ooh, so you don't need to keep reloading until you get a good run.
Yes.
So this is the smartest video game ever made.
It feels like that. It feels like it was like, well, people like all the fucked up shit. Let's grab them by the collar and be like, you think you're strong? You think that you could get strong in that version? Let me show you how strong you can get in this version. They completely overhauled how you get skills and how the guild where you got skills worked. In the original game, you had to buy skills. You had to go to something called the guild, like the skill guild. You paid the money and every character got skills from a pack. And you couldn't get all the skills until you were like a couple hours into the game. In this, they just give them all to you from the get. And I'm like, but what's the guild for? And it's like, you do missions where they actually onboard you into the crafting system.
Oh.
And doing these missions gives you extra skill points to spend. I really might have to be one of those jackasses who's like, the game of the year is the remake of this game from when my parents were still together.
Fucking, this is the year for that, though. Between Resident Evil 4 Remake and this, we are fucked.
And Super Mario RPG.
Oh, yeah.
Which comes out in 1 week.
I'm now sitting here being like, Resident Evil 4 Remake was like a 10. This sounds like a 10. Super Mario RPG Remake will probably also be a 10, but is it as strong a 10?
Yeah, I don't know.
That's scary.
Yeah, like this sounds like it does everything perfectly. I'm worried.
Yeah, this is unequivocally the best version of the game. Like, there's no reason to play. I think it would be neat to go back to the PSP one if like you play this first and then you want to see like how it looked originally. I think there's value in that.
Of course.
Yeah, no,
But
some people want to play the PS1 version for that old voice acting.
The PS1 version only has voice acting in the battles, though.
I think that's right, yeah.
And also it has the really terrible translation where everything's translated wrong.
Yes.
That's okay. At least you don't have to deal with an entire anime where they're like not able to decide how the main character's name is said, where they're like Claude.
No, that's also in the PS1 version. Because you have because in one of his level up things he says Crod has advanced forward.
Yes.
Yeah,
it's full of stuff like that where the skill in this that lets you make fake money is called contraband. In the original PS1 version, it was called reverse side, which I'm sure is probably just a
Oh.
literal
Yeah.
direct translation of what that word is in Japanese.
Right.
I'm pretty far. I'll probably. Oh, I take all this praise back. It's actually a 0 because you can't accidentally ruin your own game anymore.
Aw.
I haven't gotten there yet, but multiple people have told me the thing that lets you make the final boss the hardest boss in the entire game, harder than any of the bonus bosses, will no longer appear until you load your clear file.
Mm,
I
Which I
understand,
get it.
but
yeah.
I understand, but
Bob.
But
2 years ago, they made some VR games based on a camping anime series, I think. And so
Oh.
it's just you on cozy.
let me see if I know the anime. Yeah, it's that one.
Yeah, it's that one. It's Yuru Camp. But apparently, you just get to hang out with them and eat ramen. And
Is that on PS5?
no, because it came out 2 years ago. It's only on PS4, and since it was based on an anime airing around then, I doubt they'll re-release it. But here's the good news: it's on Oculus,
Ooh.
or it's on MetaQuest, so I could, have a use for the question. Anyway,
but yeah, I'm trying to think if there's anything else. Like, it looks so good, it's unreal. They remade the really bad CG cutscenes, so now you understand what's going on in them. Which you couldn't really do in the PS1.
yeah.
Because I'm like, oh, I never understood what happened in that cutscene on the PS1. Now I actually understand what's going on.
Also, apparently, they made that Raincoat game this year that was Switch exclusive.
Oh, they were the devs on
Yeah.
on Detective whatever Raincoat.
Something,
the thing
Raincoat,
I
yeah.
won't play until it's on something other than Switch.
Yeah, I was talking about that the other day of how like that seemed like a pretty easy contender possibly for, for us, but unfortunately it was Switch exclusive. So we're like,
Yeah, I didn't want to play that. I don't want to play that on Switch because even people I like who are really resistant to Switch like performances, like, yeah, that runs rough.
which is crazy for the genre it is.
No, it's scraping my brain for anything.
I remember something I need to say about Disgaea 7.
Sure.
I don't like what's happened to some of the Dark Assembly stuff. For people who don't know about Disgaea, the whole thing is there is a Dark Assembly you can go to where you vote on things that change the game. Like you can unlock new squads, which are things where you like set your characters into them and they level up faster. You unlock, there's literally one ability you can pass to end the game. It just says the game ends. I don't know what that does. I guess it gives you some alternate ending. But there's lots of weird things like that. This is also where you reincarnate your characters. And the way that you used to be able to cheese that system is when you loaded up the menu for the Dark Assembly, it'll have a percentage of how likely you are to succeed at this bill. Mm-hmm. And that's based on a list of representatives that will be at the assembly that day. So if you keep reloading, you can get a better roll.
Okay.
So the whole idea was like, just keep jumping in and out of that menu, and eventually you'll have a higher chance and you'll probably be able to win. Mm-hmm. But they took that out. So everything seems like it's just locked to these bills are at these percentages. That's it.
Can you still bribe them?
Yes, you can still go in and bribe the individual council members once you start the bill. So the strategy is usually, bribe all the ones that are like level 900.
Yeah,
and then
because the ones that are level 900 are like, I think this, and all the little peons are like, I also think what he thinks.
So it's like real politics.
And if you fail a bill, you can fight. So if you want to fight and get the bill to pass, then you'd have to kill those level 900 ones. But as long as they said yes, you don't have to fight them.
Oh, okay.
So the idea
Money well
is,
spent.
yes. So it still works. I miss going in and out of the menu and cheesing the system.
Right. Yeah. Sounds like you needed the Star Ocean 2 or Star Ocean the Second Story R approach.
Right.
Make it more deranged.
That's the hilarious thing I have to say about this guy.
Okay. Chris,
Yeah, I'm trying to think if there's any. Is there a single other thing I need to say about Star Ocean? No, I got it all out. That game's any PS1 RPG deserves a remake like this. Like, it's unreal. I think this game looks better than the HD 2D shit. Because there's just something about the diorama effect of these towns and dungeons with the really nice sprite work that has the light effects on it. But it's, yeah, unreal. Okay, that's it. I'm done. That's all I played.
I need to go play this camping game. Hey, Aggro, what have you been up to?
So, and a surprise to me because of how this year is going, I was completely snuck up upon by the release of Talos Principle 2.
Yes. Oh, yeah.
Had entirely forgot about it. I think I saw like a tweet. I'm like, hey, congratulations on launch. I'm like, shit!
Yeah, I remember the demo even came out during Steam Next Fest. I was like, that game isn't coming out for a long time. I don't need to worry about it.
I still find it hard to believe that the Talos Principle got a sequel.
Yeah.
It was just so weird. I'll tell you what's really great is the first hour or so of this game goes, hey, did you finish Talos Principle? No? It's all right. We're going to explain what happened. So it was, because I remember getting pretty far in it, and the game just goes, oh yeah, all that shit you thought you figured out, you were right.
And you're like, so good.
Yes. Fantastic.
My favorite sentence to hear.
And like this game has weird shit in it, like characters and dialogue and a story. Not sure whether that's an improvement or not yet. Gonna have to check back with you.
Yeah, that's always a question with that of like, is this an improvement? At very least, in a worst case scenario, I hope it ends up at not necessarily, but it is different, which is nice.
Very much so. It's a huge change of pace. Structurally, it's still the Talos Principle, so you're still going to discrete areas and solving laser and block and hole puzzles. But we've got a bevy of new, interesting machines on tripods to place here and connect to that. So really, until I get farther in, because I've only completed like the first 3 areas so far. I haven't, like, this game lays out like, hey, here's your goal. You need to do these 3 sub goals to get there, and then these like 12 smaller goals ahead. And once you do that, we're going to do this 3 more times. Probably. It's unclear. There's a big building, and I'm trying to unlock it by doing stuff to activate things to connect to other things.
I didn't play the original. Is that similar to the structure of that one?
It has been a long time, but I remember completing a bunch of areas to try to unlock a central tower.
Okay.
And I never quite got to the end of it because there was one puzzle that relied on execution instead of actually solving it, and it made me really mad, and I threw a tantrum and quit playing. So, like, connectors are back with lasers and jammers are back, but now you've got stuff like this thing only turns red lasers into blue lasers and vice versa. And this thing, you have to aim a red laser and a blue laser at it, and it'll make a green laser.
I remember doing this in Spider-Man.
This thing will drill a hole like quantum tunnel through a wall, but only this specific kind of wall. This game remains some of my favorite kind of puzzle because I'm a big proponent of once I've figured out how to solve the puzzle is over. Please don't make me then do a bunch of tedious work to finish activating the puzzle. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Yeah, so this is one of those you can work through the puzzle bit by bit, and by the time you're about to finish it, you get this nice aha moment, and then you hit the button, and your robot friends call in to say, oh, you're so smart and handsome, even though we all have the same face.
Are you the new sheriff in town?
Might be.
I mean, kind of. One thing this game continues to do, which was charming when a computer terminal was doing it to you in the first game, and is becoming less and less endearing, is a character will go, hey, pick one of these two things. And you're like, that's a false dichotomy. And they go, I know, but you have to pick one. And then you pick one and they go, ha, that's a flawed response. Only an idiot would have picked that.
Cool.
Yeah. Like I said, the writing so far, it is either quirky and interesting and might be really smart, or dumb and hackneyed and will make me want to tear the skin off my face.
You say that
Only
about a
time
number
will
of games
tell.
this year. I feel like you said the same thing about Starfield.
Starfield, I now have a skinless face. That did.
That's
yeah,
unfortunate.
that game wrote a check. And then tried to trick me into base building for 80 hours.
Yeah, that sounds like a Bethesda game. I don't know why they keep doing that.
Like, let me, like, it's such an interesting setup that I don't want to spoil pretty much any of it, but I will give you this nugget. At a certain point, a robot meets you in the hallway on your way to go to a meeting, and they have red glowing eyes and are Unit 666 and go, hey, I want you to meet some of my friends, and then you'll learn what's really up. I'm like, are they doing like a cool double irony thing, or is this really stupid?
Yeah,
It's unclear.
that feels like it's leading to really stupid, but we'll have to see.
Look, I know I'm wrong about these sorts of things. You can go listen to GigaBoots about a Kami got killed. Wait, no, it wasn't a Kami got killed. It was Seven Sins. Seven Deadly Sins. You can go listen to that and figure out I'm really bad at predicting if something's tongue-in-cheek or just stupid. But I would like to believe this has to be intentional, right? Not really dumb.
As long as they don't talk about the cake and whether or not it's a lie. That's all I need.
That's a really low bar. Admittedly, Lords of Shadow didn't pass that check once, but
Anyway, the puzzles are still great. You go to an area and you do 8 puzzles. There are 2 extra puzzles that it doesn't point you toward. And every area has a golden gate that I don't know how to unlock yet, and I think I have to go back for. And there's like 4 things to find and 2 environmental puzzles, and then like 3 extra things you can activate if you're really smart. There was one point where I had to aim a thing from a puzzle room out of the puzzle room to a piece of the exterior environment, and that didn't come up again for 6 more rooms.
Jesus.
If this game would stop having weird visual problems, I would call it gorgeous. But like, I keep walking up to objects and like the textures will turn black, or they'll look fuzzy and staticky.
What are you playing this on?
PS5.
Okay. I was gonna blame his laptop.
You do that a lot. But no, Talos Principle 2 continues to be a dream come true. I cannot wait to solve the exact same kind of puzzle in incrementally increasing complexity for the next several hours.
I have a quick question.
Yeah.
Any hidden golf balls to find?
Because I remember in the first one, there were the stars that were hidden around. In this one, to get the thing that does that, you have to... There's a few different versions of them, but you have to like find a statue and figure out what kind of puzzle it wants you to solve. Like one, cool. I had to go find a floating thing and then follow it back to the statue. One gave me a pictographic clue of somewhere on the little island I was on, and I had to find that and flip a switch. And then you go back to the statue and collect it. So it's less of a, hey, we put it in a random corner, and more, hey, it's another puzzle, more content.
Right, more content. Okay, that's cool. Did you have anything else you wanted to say about it?
I don't believe so, not yet.
Have you been playing anything else?
I mean, I've just more Mario Wonder, but it's Mario Wonder.
It's delightful.
Yeah, it's pretty great.
You know who else is pretty great? Sometimes.
Nurses.
Sometimes. But also the Podlords.
Oh, fuck.
Oh, shit.
The Podlord!
Yes, that's right. The Podlords. Podlords such as BN12, Ely Broyles, Bountiful Blessings to you all.
I really want to thank this pod lord for not changing it at all this entire.
Red Blaze 27, Suzu Shiro, Rado, 101 Shades of Wonderful Remastered, WTF, Spider-Man, WB found dead in Gotham. Did you know in Arknights, the president of what is the U.S. equivalent called Columbia is a pigeon named Mark Max?
No, I didn't know, but that sounds about right.
That's pretty great.
DFW3K, Muckbun, Shiny Mew, Kristen. There is just one thing I need.
Oh no!
Yup.
Kyle Bjork, Cooper Tank. No bit this week, so here's an award-winning smile.
What a good one.
Feast your eyes upon this rat. Her name is Miko, and she is my daughter.
Bless it.
Miko, my cousin! Indigo Sykes. Do you like really cool rail shooters? Play Sin and Punishment right now!
When that N64 core is out and done.
Oh yeah, that did work on there.
Yeah,
it was pretty cool.
It worked really great. I was shocked. I was convinced Sin and Punishment wouldn't. There's no way, right?
Right?
It's Sin and Punishment.
A raccoon that has seen the depths and can't go back.
Oh my.
Shinji 16th's 40th birthday party is going to be an all-day 2DX Request and Chill stream Saturday, November 11th, and hopes to see you there. Down at the Civic Center,
I feel like I'm reading.
the Super Mim. It's too late, Amagai. I've already depicted you as the Soy Jack and myself as the Chad.
Oh, God.
It's not wrong though.
I don't think anybody in this comparison is the Chad.
I can't take the glow.
Saraline, Timothy Fister, Bearded Joe, Pleochrome, Krunglespum. Scruntiful blessings to you all!
No. The white hair is so small.
It's like a pat of cream cheese fell on its head.
Right?
I like that the implication that its body fur is brown. So if you took off Jinkaria's shirt,
Yes. Not that we have any reference of that.
no.
Well, I mean, he waxes before
That's
all the photo shoots for the DVD box sets and Blu-rays. You
It's
know?
true.
Being a Bount can be a total drag in Jinwana Plan, now on Tubi. Podlord.
What?
Podlord.
I'm so mad I get this joke.
What is
Podlord. Oh, Lord, Podlord. I'm sure to win against Invincible because my intelligence is superior.
I know who that is.
Yeah, I haven't started season 2 yet.
Yeah, audio listeners, I ain't reading this one. I have some notes, Podlord. Just some
Ichigo,
notes.
it's like I always said, you reishi in the sink, or you.
Shaking and kneeling from recent events in the manga aside, this week I would like to introduce the Union and their leader, Juiz. That person's reminding me that Silent Hill Ascension's still a thing, but I didn't put in the image this time. Sometimes dead is better. Guys, that's a daily airing show.
Yeah, that no one's talked about since day one.
Yeah, I feel like
Man,
day one and day two had an impact and then nothing.
Is there any fan base more punished than Silent Hill fans? Like, I feel like they keep finding new bottoms. Like, you keep we're at the lowest level of hell now, and then like something punches up through from beneath you and pulls you down more. Like, I remember 10 years ago, people were like, yeah, it's nothing but pachinko now. We're so fucking over. Well, now you're here. You didn't know how bad it could truly be.
Yeah, that was the worst Silent Hill thing yet.
You're right. You have to put that on everything, though. Every single Silent Hill needs that addendum.
Saber, but mommy?
Oh my.
Lord help me.
No, that's Lancer Alter. This one can get like a 7.5.
Oh, don't worry, she can get it. Anyways, this is what happens when you try to play GTA 6 on a PS4. I know this is supposed to be an informational graphic, but I'm really not able to.
Is that an Xbox destroyed? I don't know. It seems to be a box.
It seems to be gray pixels next to black pixels, and that's about.
I mean, it's a high-speed cam of something getting blasted.
It is I believe that is a Xbox. I can see an Xbox controller there, so it's definitely an Xbox.
Yes. Unless
Being
they had
shot,
been.
probably.
And Dr. Aggro? Thank you very much to our Pablo.
Honestly, if Aggro started talking and Richard Epcar was coming at him, I'd just get frightened.
You and me both, brother.
Thank you very much to our Podlords.
Thank you, Podlord.
Thank you, Podlords.
Thank you,
And if
Podlord.
you'd like to become a Podlord, you can go to our Patreon at patreon.com/gbpodcast. For as little as $5 a month, you get access to many benefits such as early access to Chugging, Bleach, and Pokemon Go to the Movies, our 2 monthly anime review podcasts, extended bits and bobs when indeed such things exist to be given to you, and you also fund there's a patron-funded show, one every month, either a public show where we watch a horrible thing and patrons get an exclusive commentary track of that horrible thing, or a patron-exclusive show where we watch a good thing and that you get to vote on and then talk about that good thing. And these alternate month for month. This month, November, is a good month, and then December is a bad month. That's patreon.com/GD podcast. If you don't have any money, it always helps immensely to tell your friends, rate us on Thursdays, rate us on your podcast app of choice, and like this video and leave a comment on YouTube if you listen that way. Thank you. That's patreon.com/GD podcast.
Something about the energy of just, this is a bad month and this is a good month. I just imagine me in front of a calendar just being like, no, with the red marker Xing out in December. No, bad month. We have news. Let's go ahead and start with the thing that somebody cares about. They announced a new Steam Deck. Did you know?
I heard. That was today. Is it good?
So here's the interesting thing about this new Steam Deck. They replaced the old screen with an actually decent screen instead of having the worst portable screen since the original DS launched. And now it's an OLED. and it's 90 hertz, and it's HDR capable. It can go up to 1,000 nits, so it's actually respectable.
Yeah, no, that's kind of crazy.
The interesting thing is what I'm hearing from, I believe, Digital Foundry, who's hearing it from developers and possibly just Valve themselves, is that unlike Windows, where it's a nightmare to do HDR implementation, it's just wrong for some reason. There, it's just working, which doesn't surprise me. It
Yeah, it's
doesn't
a closed
surprise me.
environment, then yeah.
Right, using a direct implementation of Linux doesn't. It seems like it would be better in this exact way.
Right.
Interestingly enough, this new screen also, as you know, because you've touched a Steam Deck, which gives you any room to talk about a Steam Deck. This is a qualification for talking about a Steam Deck. They have two different things of like, do you want a frame rate cap and do you want a display cap? Because as you know, I would drop the frame rate to like 40 cap.
Right.
And then it would make games that only run at 40 look smoother than, they would elsewise. They made this one slider in the new one. So you choose the frame rate cap and the display will figure it out.
Huh.
So theoretically, it would cap the 45 frame per second frame cap. The screen would sync to that. On top of that, the touchscreen itself is more responsive than it was before. It now has like a double refresh rate, so the touch feels good.
Yeah, I remember that being a little rough.
Yeah, it was not good. Basically, everything about that screen and that interface was not good.
Yeah, that screen was literally unacceptably bad.
I'm hearing people credit the OLED screen for energy savings, which doesn't actually make any sense because OLED screens are not necessarily more power efficient than LCDs. In this case, the energy savings, the longer battery life is mostly sourced from the battery is a fourth bigger. So it went from 40 watt hours to like 50 watt hours or whatever. Milliamp hours, sorry. No, I said it correctly. Okay. So between that and the fact the APU has gone from a 7 nanometer down to a 6 nanometer node, there are enough energy savings where they have new numbers for battery life. Old numbers are 2 to 8 hours depending on content, which 2 actually is generous in a lot of cases. I have rarely experienced 2.
Right.
That's how that thing was. I don't understand even sticking 2 on here. 1.5 is more accurate. If like I was playing Valkyrie Elysium and it couldn't get 2.
That's just a hugely demanding game.
I mean, I guess compared to a Steam Deck's hardware profile, sure. Aside from that, let's see. They updated the Wi-Fi to be a better quality. There are some performance gains from one change, because theoretically there could be some due to thermals on the cutting edge 6 nanometer node with the APU. But really, they actually upped the memory bandwidth, and apparently it was being bottlenecked on the memory bandwidth side significantly. So them doing that alone has given them extra performance in a number of games. If you're curious about that, go check out Digital Foundry's coverage, because they're one of the few people who got to do benchmarks already. And they've barely had it for any time at all. Gamers Nexus is going to do a review as well, which will definitely be one to look out for, because they have an anechoic chamber to do measurements of sound and things like that.
I'm very excited because that thing was loud.
Oh, yeah. The Steam Deck One is really not a great product. Like, I don't doubt that this OLED revision is actually a solid beginning to this. Because the fan on that is obnoxiously loud. It's really shrill. And it will kick up in the fan curve is programmed very strangely. This should mitigate a lot of that from the better thermals due to, lower fab size, lower node size. And the memory bandwidth increase is going to help with performance in some cases. But this really isn't supposed to be a completely new Steam Deck. It's the same hardware. It's all the same specs. It's not even a clock rate increase. It's the same clock rate ranges. It's the same amount of cores. It's the same everything.
Did anyone talk about if the buttons feel better?
No one has admitted the buttons don't feel good enough on the first one, so no one will ever be able to tell us except for ourselves.
Yeah, that's always
it's
harsh
so
reality.
frustrating. Yeah, it's very frustrating. I wish it felt as solid as even the Xbox controller, because the Xbox controller is going for the same style of button feel.
Right.
But it's not there. And yeah, I was thinking about that
earlier.
earlier.
Feel as good as the Joy-Cons. It's not a high bar.
That would be neat. But yeah, I was frustrated when I was thinking about that earlier today, because I've owned a Steam Deck for 2 years now. I know if I buy a Steam Deck OLED, it will not be used.
Right.
Like that thing is, I pull it out to do a stream based on the Steam Deck, which happened once, maybe twice ever. And elsewise, I find it's not a really great solution to play my games. As I said, I tried to play Valkyrie Elysium and a number of other games around the time Valkyrie Elysium came out, and it just was not a great experience. They're constantly updating Proton to have better compatibility with things. And so it should be in a better state now than it was, when we did that stream. So I am genuinely curious if we do another stream that's a litmus test of our, basically what we just did for the N64 core on the Mister.
Right.
Let's test what we think are important games on the Steam Deck, because we have pretty large libraries.
Yeah.
Most people on Steam have pretty large libraries.
Yes, it turns out a storefront that's been running for, what is it, 15, 20 years?
20 years.
20 years, yeah.
Yeah.
I think 18, because I think it launched with Half-Life 2.
I thought it launched before Half-Life 2, and they were like, you need this to get Half-Life 2. And people were like, oh, man. No, the orange box was the one where they were like, you got to do it.
Okay, it's been more than 20 years. It was September 12th, 2003.
Yeah, boy.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
That makes sense, because I
03.
remember using it in high school.
Yes. Uh-huh. That's also how I remember. The screen is larger on this one. The hardware layout is identical. You look at it, it's just a Steam Deck. I literally showed it to Chris and Bob and said, which one is the one you're excited about? Because I had the new Steam Deck and the old Steam Deck side by side. And they guessed the wrong one.
Right.
And in my defense, I guessed the wrong one because the new one is covered in tons of filth from the reviewer's filthy hands. So I said, obviously the one with weird hand crust in the fucking D-pad and the buttons must be the old one. Surely Polygon does not have grotesque unwashed monsters reviewing tech for them.
Right, who could do that in less than a week.
Yeah, right?
What?
Get a toothpick. What are you doing? What? Dude. Yeah, that was pretty gross. I have no idea what's up with that. Aside from that, I think I covered basically everything they said. They said they are interested in making a Steam Deck 2, but the hardware's not there yet, so they're not interested in making one prematurely.
That makes sense.
I still cannot stress enough when I talk about the Steam Deck, because everyone else is going to blow smoke up your ass. Do not expect anywhere near 100% of your games to work.
Yeah, don't expect this to be like buying a Nintendo Switch where you just buy a game and it works.
Right.
That's not what it is.
That's not what this device is. This is a very enthusiast, very niche product.
Even if something says verified, that means it boots.
That means it boots.
That
and
does
it
not mean that
may work.
Right. Yeah, that may
Because
mean
that stream is us booting verified games and them just breaking.
yeah, like Sonic. Sure, boots. Sonic Generations
Yeah.
was not playable.
And somebody literally brought that up today in our fan Discord that like, oh yeah, Sonic Generations, they keep saying it ran bad. And I'm like, I don't have to say. There's a stream. Go look. Mm-hmm. But who knows? It probably has gotten better.
Maybe.
Because a lot of this stuff has come a long way since.
Yeah.
It's like this thing where you can where games change. It's like a even greater version of the fact that games change so much post-launch now.
Yeah.
You can go, oh, none of this is true. This review's bad. And it's like, sorry, I didn't future-proof my fucking review.
Which is really funny. The most experience I've ever had with that was Freedom Planet, because so much of that review is about the plot, and they chopped out a number of cutscenes that I even show in that.
Right.
It was to the point where by the time I finished the Freedom Planet review, I think it was the day after that went up, they deleted a giant cutscene at the beginning of the game. So I went, yeah, I'm uploading this. Just unlisted video over here. So that way, throughout time, you can understand what the hell I was talking about in that review. Mm-hmm. But yeah, for people who don't know, the Steam Deck is reliant upon a hack. The hack being layers of compatibility layers to make it run Windows games, because it is a Linux device. And so this compatibility layer, like we're talking about, just gets better over time as people work on it, but it's not bulletproof. And there are games that just won't work. There are very few games that have a native Linux version. And while the Steam Deck being out on the market has made it more important for people to test their games on the Steam Deck and thus improve that, and the community efforts have come a really long way on that front. In fact, one of our executive producers for the channel for several years now is one of the larger contributors in that scene. It's still not like console, you're not going to buy a game and it 100% works. And you definitely shouldn't go into it with the mindset of all your Steam games are now portable, because that's not what it is. A lot of your Steam games will probably be portable is a much better way to think about that. So I don't know that I need to do a litmus test on this again to see how far it's come.
Yeah, obviously that'll be all the same. Like everything is the same other than the new screen and some hardware reviews.
And some slight bandwidth increases, which means performance would be slightly better in specific instances where that's an obvious shortcoming. Sonic Generations is not that.
Right.
That was clearly not that. Ironically, all of this effort coming so far for this, which the Steam Deck itself really helped fuel this compatibility layer community development stuff for Proton. That coming so far made it easier for Apple to make their own version. It was a game port tool making kit or whatever. There's a specific thing to bring your games over to Mac OS that was also benefiting from all this development and stuff, which is really cool. Anyway, any thoughts, Bob?
It is a little bit more tempting where the screen is something I would ever want to look at.
Right.
But I still need to touch it to feel the buttons. So I'm not going to ever buy it.
Right, yeah, it's expensive because we didn't even talk about the price point. Luckily, the 256 gigabyte version is now the standard lowest version, which is good because it was clown shoes to have a version that was 64 gigabyte SD card basically soldered onto the board.
Right, but isn't that one like the old version?
Yes, I was about to get into that. Yeah, I'm just saying the baseline is that.
Yeah.
And then you have to get the $550 version with 512 gigabytes of SSD in order to get the OLED screen. Like, this still feels like proper progress. It feels like these prices are more appropriate. It feels like these values are more appropriate because the original pricing was really bad.
Yeah.
I say that as someone who couldn't get, I'm pretty sure I got the second tier. Because we're going to do a stream where I have 64 gigs of storage and then we have to insert the SD card and hope that compatibility thing they built works well. Because they did that whole in order to make it play better off of the SD card, we're going to buffer it on this internal storage, and you'll have your games on your SD card, and it'll stream it to that to try to fill that up. And so yeah, anyways, just having a basic model, having the low end model have a proper size SSD,
right?
At all usable size SSD is good because this basically, if you ordered this $400 Steam Deck today, is what I paid over $500 for, like $520 or whatever. 2 years ago.
Yeah. So that's actually nice.
Which means Valve gets running hardware and hardware revisions more than Sony.
No, buy this thing that looks worse in every way is clearly made of cheap plastic for the same amount of money.
Hey, there's an advantage. The margins for Sony are much better on that version.
Oh, good. I'm doing charity.
My favorite charity, Sony Corporation.
Right.
Sony Interactive Entertainment.
And then I guess if you're insane, the $650 version of the Steam Deck OLED is a terabyte SSD. It has the anti-glare etched glass on top, to better reject reflections, which I cannot stress. What the fuck do you mean you're shipping an OLED without that? That's scary. And then you get the carrying case with removable liner, the Steam profile bundle, the exclusive startup movie, and exclusive virtual keyboard theme.
Yeah, what is this startup movie?
Startup movie?
Advent Children. It just plays Advent Children every time you boot the Steam Deck.
You can't
have
skip
to
it.
watch
It's the entire thing.
Look, I'm fast traveling again. I say blacking out.
They didn't.
Battery dies.
They didn't include a Phil Fishin show, did they?
See, for people who don't know, Phil Fish made the analog consoles boot logo. There's a boot sequence with those, and Phil Fish made it, which made everyone go, "What? What do you mean? That doesn't make sense."
Right?
Anyways, that's it for the Steam Deck news. As I said, not having an anti-glare coating on the screen is really scary for OLED because of the way OLEDs work. And that's a better value for $400. That's something. But that's it. I'm done. We can move on to Dr. Aggro. Hey, Aggro, you got any announcements about portables or anything?
Well. So I want you to temper your expectations
Okay.
because Nintendo president Shintaro Furukawa said during a financial call that even though everyone in the world knows otherwise, and we have a lot of, evidence and reports about it, and it's clearly a thing, that the Switch 2 is not real and will never be real. Please buy an OLED model for Christmas.
Yeah, let me look at my watch. Okay, it is currently the early November. The Switch 2 will not actually exist like the waveform won't collapse until December 26th.
Right?
Yeah.
I wonder why.
Only then.
And this is pretty normal for Nintendo. The only time they've ever been like, we're not selling any of these fucking Wii U's. Show it's real now.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I think that it's really funny in this interview. I think he says something like, ignoring all concepts of generations up to now, the Switch is going into an 8th year and it's looking great.
Yeah, I think it's funny to be like, ignoring all the people who said this exists under oath, meaning we must consider that numerous people who work for Microsoft and Sony and the FTC and every publisher in the industry lied under oath, committed perjury
Yeah.
to say the Switch 2 exists.
They're wrong.
The
They're
translation I'm looking at says rumors are circulating mainly on the internet as if they were public information, but they are inaccurate.
Oh.
Which, I mean, that's some shit I would say under oath and can argue my way around. He also made a statement about that double screen patent that came out a little while ago.
Yeah, that was a weird one.
Yeah, which a lot of people are connecting them like the Switch 2 is real and it's this, definitely. And he made the perfectly reasonable statement of we patent shit all the time, guys.
Yeah, like if this was the Switch 2, they'd have patented it a lot sooner than last month.
What? No way.
Like, did you know that Sony, the PS5 Pro will probably come out because Sony ordered it to enter production a year ago? Or put in the order for production, whatever. Same thing. They committed monetarily.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry, I was just checking out a link in chat to make sure it was okay, and it's okay. Some Steam Deck user just replaced their boot movie with Shrek. That's all. So there you go. Do that, but Advent Children.
Now I'm just like, I don't hate Advent Children, but I think I'd rather watch Shrek every time I boot it. I don't know. There's like an appeal to that.
I think Shrek's definitely a better movie, especially better than the fucking extended cut of Advent Children that adds the fucking Desmond.
Oh yeah.
Subplot.
Yeah. I think I'd rather watch Shrek. I mean, I don't even feel that strong. Like, Shrek's a good movie.
Yeah.
Advent Children's really pretty.
The only
Which one
way
of these do I
I
want
want
to
to watch
spend my time with?
The only way I want to watch Advent Children is sitting on a friend's patio because his parents don't want us in the house, watching a bootleg DVD on a PS2 on a 24-inch CRT. Everybody's huddled around. I think there was a bucket of chicken involved.
Look, if I'm going to watch something on a handheld these days, it's either going to be Endless Waltz or Dead Leaves.
Yeah, you know what? Dead Leaves works here too.
Okay, I got the UMD stuck in my Steam Deck. Why won't it turn on?
Has Rocco filmed that yet?
I mean, with Dead Leaves, you'll still have time to play a little video game before the battery dies.
That's true. Hey, Agro, you got any other news?
I got a little thing here. Vampire Survivors announced another one of their free DLCs. This one's called Adventures. They have described it as adventures are self-contained miniature story modes that reset and remix the game's content following the Survivors cast on a series of wacky side quests.
Weird?
Yeah, it looks
There's
really
apparently lore.
Huh. Yeah,
well, I mean, they're going to need it because there's a movie coming, right?
There's official lore and at least one vampire, according to the FAQ.
Yeah, there's lore in the main game, but there's not like characters. So this will be interesting to see what they do with characters.
I think
this
it's
is-
I think it's funny to the idea of a Vampire Survivors movie is very funny to me because I do think that's the point where Konami would just knock on their glass and be like,
Yeah.
no.
Yeah. Well, it's okay. In Adventures, they're going to introduce new exciting characters like Selfa Vunundes.
Nintendo might
Like,
be
okay,
upset
we
about
won't- we-
Bayonetta being in the movie.
Or Sega, because Sega still owns Bayonetta.
No, I think Nintendo steps in because the Vampire Survivors movie clearly infringes on their Captain N version of Simon Belmont.
Hey, guys. They're like a lawsuit. Okay. Well, with that out of the way, hey, Bob.
Hey, what's up?
I heard you have news.
I do.
Oh, okay.
Rockstar says next month we are getting a GTA 6 trailer.
So we're getting State of Play next month.
Probably, yeah.
Or it's at the Game Awards.
Yeah, one of these two.
Oh yeah, but Sony always partners with them for PR shit, so maybe
True.
it'll be like first look at one and then more at the other.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that would make sense. Because it'll be, I assume once GTA 6 is actually announced, we will see no end to it. It will be at every trade show.
They'll have their own trade shows. They
Yeah,
don't
that's
have
true.
to show up at other people.
Considering they spent $2 billion, a number that I would actually be a little bit worried about recouping if there's not a new version of GTA Online attached to this, like at the hip to this.
Mm-hmm.
It's going to be everywhere. They need maximum sales.
Did
you? This is only semi-related. Did you see Take-Two's executive explaining how they survived the pandemic? They're surviving without layoffs.
No.
They were whatever, but one was specifically, we understood the pandemic bump would end and didn't overextend.
Even they figured it out. Here's where I get shitty. Even I figured it out. Like we could have
we all
expanded the
knew.
podcast network because there are a lot of projects we would love to do and people we would like to take on for it. But I'm like, no, this is like people are going to go outdoors again.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
So with the GTA 6 thing, here's the thing I wonder about. Okay.
Okay.
Maybe I'm a little excited over this because I there's not been enough savagery here in the console market. We have been far too civil. If Sony announces like an exclusivity, like console exclusivity, what the fuck happens to Xbox on GTA 6?
I feel like there's no way they can do it, but
There's the only way that would happen is if it's simple as that's the Series S. No.
Yeah, I feel
Right.
like
yeah,
there's a number that they can write Rockstar where they can get a year exclusivity.
there might be.
That would be vile.
It would.
Give them $1 billion. They could give them $1 billion.
They're like, we know
Sony
how to
has
make
been-
back $2 billion.
Wow, that was cheaper than Activision.
Sony has spent more on worse things.
Oh,
Yes.
yes. Yeah,
Yeah.
they're right over there and on fire. Yeah, I wonder what the deal is because you know they have to have a
Yeah,
deal.
there's
There's
going-
a deal.
there's-
What is the deal?
Right. There's absolutely going to be exclusive content. Absolutely. There's no way there isn't. But it will be fully exclusive, maybe. That seems crazy, though.
Niceville, exclusive to PlayStation.
I am really excited for to do Florida-based.
Yeah, it's going to be
GTA.
great. We're not going to be in Florida. We're going to be playing this
it's-
Florida GTA game, and it's going to be funny as shit.
It's so hard for me to be excited for GTA 6 because I hated how GTA 5 felt so much. Just move around in and drive in.
Yeah, they've been bad with about that since 4, honestly.
But
Yeah, honestly, I don't like GTA 4 at all. Even at the
Yeah.
time, I didn't like it. I played it and I'm like, this isn't as good as Vice City or San Andreas.
Yeah.
guys, GTA 5, that's not the same company. That was 10 years ago.
That's true.
They also made Red Dead 2, which apparently plays terribly.
Yeah, I hear a lot of people.
Red Dead 2 though is like trying to be a weird immersive sim.
Yes.
Yes. Yeah. But this is GTA, so it'll be better this time.
I'm a hopeful.
Because here's
Like,
the thing. Here's how you know. Ready?
Yeah.
Okay, check this out. It runs on the PS4, allegedly.
Yeah.
So if that's the case, it's got to fucking be
Yeah, at least it's gotta run well,
real
yeah.
different on the fucking PS5. And if you run better, you feel better. That's
Right.
just literally how that works.
Yeah, I do have the PS5 version of GTA 5. Maybe I'll boot that at some point and see.
I booted it once and I was like, wow, this is really cool. I don't have time.
Yeah, it still feels bad.
It feels better than it did.
It feels, of course, it feels better than it did. It still feels bad.
Yeah, I need to give it a fair shot because the last time I tried GTA 5 was on the PS3.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, that's the way I played most of it. And I did try the PS4 version, but that knocked the frame rate locked to 30.
Yeah, which
And that
sucks.
just felt worse,
Yeah.
even than the uncapped nonsense the PS3 was.
That was unfortunate that the PS4 version of GTA 5 was like capped at 30 and still felt bad. And I'm like, oh no, we're still not out of 4th or 7th gen, are we?
Right.
Oh no.
But we found out some other important news this week.
Oh yeah?
Yeah. Shigeru Miyamoto took to the Nintendo Twitter account to say, hey, I'm working on a Zelda live action movie with Avi Arad, the founder of Marvel Studios.
Whoa.
Yeah, he also produced like Marvel stuff all the way back to the old X-Men films, like the originals and the Sam
Yes.
Raimi Spider-Mans.
Yes.
And also Morbius.
Yes.
But yeah, I'm still really hyped about this because we saw what happened with Mario. We know Nintendo will keep the close eye on this,
Right.
and it will be something cool.
Mm-hmm.
I don't see it coming out with the people they currently haven't attached to it because they have a dog shit director.
Oh, they actually announced the director? I didn't see that.
Yes, they did. It is the guy who directed the Maze Runner movies, those trilogy of Maze Runner movies. And the writer is the writer is Derek Connolly, who wrote Detective Pikachu
Yeah,
and the
it's fine.
Jurassic World movies.
Oh,
All of them?
yeah. I was like, that can't be
Yeah,
all the same. writer.
I'm on
No, it's all
bargaining
of
here.
They were co-writers with Colin Trevorrow, but
Right.
his name's still on them. He also co-wrote Rise of Skywalker.
I assume like 12 other people did that.
That's true. There is like 87 names on that, but still.
I think honestly we can't really say anyone wrote it. That film you watch and you can tell it just happened. Like, no one plans to make that. No one intends to make that.
Since we brought up Star Wars, did you see that Kevin Feige's Star Wars movie's canceled?
Oh my god! Of course. What Star Wars movie isn't canceled?
They're still pretending the Rey sequel is coming out.
Wow. I figured there was no way on that one.
They keep saying.
Well, Daisy Ridley can't really get any work anymore because it's exactly like the original trilogy where Mark Hamill kind of got stuff, Harrison Ford was fine, and Leia, I forget the actress's name. Her career didn't really go anywhere after that.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like that again.
Yeah. The weird thing is this time, at least the Ben Swallow character, who I've forgotten the name of, Adam Driver, had like a thing going on. He had any acting presence before.
Right, and it seems like that is continuing.
Right.
Yeah, Adam Driver's been in a ton of shit
Yeah.
since then. Like,
Yeah.
I think he won an Oscar since then.
Right. And that's the thing. Like,
And Oscar Isaac is still doing stuff. Thankfully, thank
and
God.
same deal with him, where he was in stuff, but he's in Drive.
Right. God, I can never recognize him when we go watch it. It's just like, yeah, that's him. But
See, it meant
only
nothing
barely.
to me the first time I watched it. I was like, this character's actor's really good. And then I go back and I'm like, holy shit.
Yeah,
Like he's been
Oscar
inserted
Isaac-
back into the movie, basically.
Oscar Isaac is like playing chicken with like career oblivion, where it's like, I escaped Star Wars with my career unscathed. Time to go do a Marvel thing.
Yeah.
multiple
Moon
times.
Yep. But yeah, even Harrison Ford, I don't think had that going on before Star Wars and Indiana Jones. Like, I think he was basically a nobody.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
Because
think
he was just
a carpenter when he got Star Wars.
No, he was on a carpenter. He was a carpenter when he got Lucas's other film, because he's in one of Lucas's other films, and then Lucas sweet talked him back into Star Wars. I can't. It's not a big role as far as I know, but he's in the background of what, THX or
Oh yeah, that was
the
like the
other
only other
one.
one. Yeah,
There's
THX
two-
something.
American
he was in,
Graffiti.
Graffiti, yeah.
Yeah, those
I really
are like
need to watch that because that's like biographical from Lucas's perspective.
Yeah, I've always been
It's
curious
about-
to watch those two. just to see what he did before Star Wars.
Yeah, I've always been interested in just seeing Lucas pre-Star Wars. You got to know,
Right?
especially knowing the people he was tight with and the people he respected. I'm very interested in how those are, because he's rubbing shoulders with the Apocalypse Now director, who I've forgotten the name of, right? Coppola.
Yeah, Coppola.
And also Spielberg and stuff.
course.
And you have to go.
This pretty much happened while we were live, but did you see the only Marvel movie coming out next year is Deadpool 3? The others got delayed out of 2024.
Thank God. Deadpool 3 needs to be so good as their new launching on point for the X-Men and for Marvel.
I'm just gonna play a sound real quick. This is spoilers for Marvel content. If you care about Marvel content and don't want Marvel content spoiled, maybe just don't worry, it'll be like 30 seconds. You know what they tease at the end of the Marvels?
No. Is it Beast? Is it Michael C. Grammar Beast? What? So now
they're over. They're fucking washed.
No,
And
Yet they
this
just
shit's
sold 2
dead. We're
tickets.
done.
yeah, I might go see that movie right now.
Right?
Yep.
No,
It's
that's
over.
that's-
It's never been more over. Kevin Feige is gonna be out there like Avengers 5 Secret Wars on Kickstarter now.
no. That I'm sorry.
No,
X-Men are what they need to save this whole boat.
This owns it is bizarre. It is
You can't use the X-Men to save it with all these busted ass ancient actors.
just gonna put that up.
You can't save the MCU by bringing back Robert Downey Jr. You extended its fucking death as long as he's there.
That's true.
Yeah.
We're done with that.
But yeah, that's like because there's many X-Men who don't have an actor yet.
That's true.
It's
You
really
got
easy to be like,
It's just
here's our new
Gambit.
gen.
Here's the new. Yeah, right.
Yeah.
It's just a fucking.
Yeah, and then Wolverine. If Wolverine has to be there, and Hugh Jackman,
Now
I
he's
guess
gonna
they're
die
paying
in
him
Deadpool
$100 billion
3.
dollars.
Again.
But like, come on, guys, you have to. They're so washed. It's so over. It's never been more over.
And that's it. We're gonna stop the music and we're not gonna. So anyway, yeah, Bob, the Marvels apparently not even for the fucking movie part of the movie because it's so it is unfathomable. But
That's actually getting like I just can't give it a decent review, which they even haven't been giving the new Marvel movies good reviews.
Yeah, but everybody else gave it the worst review. It has like a 52 on Rotten
Oh
Tomatoes.
no! Oh no!
Like even the places like geektable.org are like, this shit's trash.
how fucked up that I won, but not in the game. That's Dwayne pointing out in chat.
Yeah, it's messed
Dan
up,
won, and I'm
man.
like, yeah, but like in the wrong way. Anyway, we gotta move on. We talk about gaming news.
That's right. Like
and it didn't happen in the game.
oh god. Like Fantasy Life I, the girl who steals time, and how that's been delayed to next year.
No shit. No shit. All that shit was supposed to be this year. Like that Deca Police was also supposed to be this year. No shit. It's not in this year. We're running out of this year.
Right? There's literally no time you can release it, man. What are you doing?
Let me see if this headline fits. There we go. Yeah, it isn't coming out in the next 110 minutes.
Right? Surprise, surprise.
They did announce like a level 5 direct for November 29th, I believe. So I
that's cool.
assume
Ooh, a
we
bunch
will
of
get
delays.
yeah. The other game that they said would be out this year that won't be.
They're doing the out loud version of the Devolver Digital joke.
Yeah, they're going to literally do it.
The delay direct.
Maybe they'll even actually tell us when that new Inazuma 11 game is coming out.
Maybe.
Let's move on.
We got more delays.
Cool.
Star Wars Hunters has been delayed again. It was supposed to be out this year. It was previously supposed to be out 2022.
What the fuck is this game?
So, Star Wars Hunters, we saw it in Nintendo Direct like 3 years ago. It was an Overwatch-like Star Wars game that they didn't show any gameplay of. It's going to be on the Switch and mobile. This thing, I don't think is happening at all, guys.
Yeah.
They keep doing this. Apparently, they did a very similar blog post last year in September of like, yeah, it's not going to be this year, and they just did it again this year. So yeah, don't expect Star Wars Hunters. Definitely not this year, if nothing else. We also got news about Taiko
Drum Master.
Taiko Drum Master, Drum and Fun, will no longer be on the eShop starting November 30th. I was like, oh my god, this is terrible. And then I realized this is actually the old game, which they are no longer supporting, that released in 2018. There is a new Taiko Drum Master that came out last year called Rhythm Festival. And that one's continuing.
Music licensing things, I assume?
Probably, yeah. I thought they were getting rid of the one from last year. I was really heartbroken over this.
But no,
okay, yeah, no, that's fine.
Yeah, it's like, we have the replacement. Please buy that.
Yeah, okay. That's okay. Yeah, great. Fine, sure.
Yeah, whatever.
Yeah.
Hironobu Sakaguchi.
The Gooch?
The Gooch.
What about the Gooch?
He is working on a new project. He's actually started working on it now.
Gucci Boochies?
The gooch is loose.
Yes.
The Gooch is loose.
He went to a shrine to pray for success in his next venture.
Cool. I do the same for him every day.
Please.
Give me the fucking game!
Put it on anything but Apple Arcade and mobile.
Guys, I see the Steam listing. Give me the game! You're making me break my New Year's resolution.
Right?
My fans' hearts are broken because I can't play Fantation.
Yeah, I hope he like partners with a studio that has money.
Yeah, it'd be
Yeah.
cool if someone with money would fucking work with one of the greatest creators in the fucking industry going back to the fucking 80s. Like, come on.
Yeah, you wouldn't think that'd be such a hard thing to get. And then my last thing, I guess I should have paired this with all the other delays news. Sony president Hiroki Totoki talked about the live service games for PlayStation. They have 12 planned still. 6 of them are going to be out by the end of fiscal year 2025. That is down from the previously announced 10 being out by the end of fiscal year 2025.
And that's March 2026.
Yes.
So over 2 years away.
Hey, listener, you ever hear about the Lost Generation in Japan? Imagine that, but exclusively for video games for one publisher.
I think they're going. I think we're going to have Sony redefining what live service means at some point, because this came out last week, I think, or I forget when exactly. But somebody with Naughty Dog is like, "No, The Last of Us multiplayer totally isn't canceled, guys. We're actually still working on it. It's totally not canceled." Which makes me think, one, you could just be lying, of course. But if you're not, is this going to be like, we're just going to make multiplayer games again and say they're live service?
That would be nice.
Yeah.
I would like that. I miss normal multiplayer games.
But yeah, for the rest of them, the other 6 games, he just says that we're still figuring that out. Like, so what?
Well, yeah, I'm sure we'll see Concord again someday. I'm sure that isn't has brains blown out in the back room.
Hey, Bob, what's your favorite Sony game coming out next year? You know, just name anything coming out 2 months from now to 14 months from now. Name.
The only game I even know coming out next year, there's only 2. Helldivers, which I don't care. No one on Earth cares. They made sure
cares.
of that.
Say it in the comments if you care. Also, say it if you don't care.
And Fair Games, which looks like a CG trailer that looks bad.
But Wolverine's supposed to be next year.
That's true.
I completely believe that.
That's from leaks, though.
Oh, they haven't.
Rise of the Ronin.
I don't think they once acknowledged. Well, I mean, that's second party, but
it is second party. But did they say that was next year? I didn't think we got a date for that.
Yeah, Sony officially never confirmed Wolverine for next year.
Yeah, they did not. No, Rise of the Ronin, I think they said 2024 in its reveal trailer.
Yeah, I think they said that in 2022.
Okay, maybe.
And we haven't heard anything since because telling us things is sinful.
Yeah, we really I like how even this is not from Jim Ryan. I'm hoping we don't see a single
Jim's
thing
on the way
press,
out.
Right, we don't see any more press content from Jim Ryan at all. He just is silently gone.
It's going to be really good because the start of the next state of play is going to be Jim Ryan on a monitor. And it's POV shot, and he's just like, "We tried to do the thing best for everyone." And then the fucking Doom Marine smashes the monitor.
Oh, see, I was thinking of like that Apple ad, and then like Hiroki Totoki runs in with a box and like throws it through the monitor. which I'm not even thinking the Apple ad now. I'm thinking of the Futurama parody of the Apple ad.
I mean, that's how culture works, right?
Yeah.
You make a reference to the thing, that's a reference to the thing. Great.
Yeah.
So excited. Hey, Chris, do you have any idea what number of PS5s are out there and the owners that might be interested as a segue to you covering the news?
So PS5 shipments are, as of the end of September, 46.6 million. This is almost exactly like like an under 1% difference between the PS4, and that pisses me off. There's no, like, it's so difficult to derive any meaning from. It's exactly the same. Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
Man, it's almost like market spaces are pretty predefined in that markets are of a certain size. And if you don't massively fuck up, you should expect your audience to be roughly the same number 5 years later.
It's what does Aggro keep saying? Oops, the finite boundaries of a physical universe.
Yep.
But I thought nobody owned a PS5.
I do hear that
it's
from
worth-
a bunch of coping boomers.
It's worth noting that Xbox, I believe, is running very slightly ahead of the Xbox One. Not much.
Yeah, on a
But,
hardware
like,
sales wise, apparently they
Hardware
are.
sales wise, they're running like 110%, which makes me think, is there just a lot more people who own both this gen because of the Series S? Like, people get a PS5 and they're like, I'll get a Series S in case there's an Xbox thing.
I mean, yes, there are a lot more people who own both the PlayStation console and an Xbox console this time because as lame duck as Xbox's offerings can be easily observed to be this time, none of them have the curse of the Xbox One reveal.
That's true. Like, I bought an Xbox this time. I did not buy one last gen.
I
Also,
bought one
there
at the
was-
end of last gen when they had the souped up version.
Also,
And
there was
the-
many stimulus payments from 2020 to 2022, so I'm willing to bet those probably contributed to greater game
True.
spending as well.
Yeah. Hey, remember when I bought the Xbox One X and we're like, finally we can play these games in 4K, better performance than the PS4 Pro, and then it was worse even though it cost $100 more.
That was pretty cool, Dan.
Technically,
Can we
there
not
was-
talk about that?
No, that's every time I've given them rope, they fucked me. The fucking launch of the Series X not being able to
Brutal
play a
Legend
last gen.
thing.
I'm
Brutal
still
Legend
talking.
thing.
What? Why?
Sorry, Brutal Legend thing. It runs like shit on the Series X. Like,
What?
it dropped frames constantly. I have no idea how or why. Like, people are saying it ran better than this on a 360. And there's been weird performance things in a lot of those back compat games. It's almost like, even though it's not everything, it's these specific titles, it's still not bulletproof. It'd sure be nice if they hadn't ended that entire fucking program and could continue improving these things.
I'm actually floored by this.
Yeah.
I was told that was the most consistently powerful console.
That meant something.
I mean, it should be consistent with the console 3 gens ago or whatever.
But
That's
yeah,
weird.
most back
That's
compat
weird.
games work great, so I don't know what
Yeah,
the hell
they
that
do.
thing's problem was.
Me neither. Somebody's bringing up Avoweds next year, so
Okay.
so far the Xbox lineup's looking better for me than the fucking PlayStation
But I
lineup.
thought that everyone said that game looked like it was gonna suck.
I'm like, this game looks great. And all of Twitter went, you're a dumb gay baby. And I'm like, oh, okay, sorry. I was excited. I forgot it should be Starfield, or I should kill myself.
I guess I should run through other news things.
Yeah, let's
If nobody else
go.
Has anything else? Okay. Microsoft employees got their Game Pass Ultimate back. Phil Spencer, I guess, went, guys, this costs us nothing and is good PR. Just fucking turn it back on. Thank you.
Right?
Yeah.
What the fuck?
Microsoft also announced they are partnering with in-world AI to use AI solutions for NPC dialogue and narrative tools.
Oh,
We found that
disgusting.
just being associated with Microsoft wasn't poison enough to kill all projects anyone could ever conceive of.
Remember like a year ago when Phil Spencer was getting all sorts, or not even like a year and a half ago, where Phil Spencer was getting tons of good PR for repeatedly taking shots at NFTs and supposed usage of NFTs in the gaming industry. He sure allowed them to do this with another scam.
Right? Like, I know you have access to the internet in that company. Like, a non-zero number of Microsoft employees have been to the internet. You cannot think that adding this to any video game will positively impact its performance.
It's so insane for companies to still announce these things while every other day there's like AI CEOs in the news being like, but if we have to pay anyone for anything ever, we'll instantly go out of business. You can't do this, government. Mods. We have to be able to ignore copyright or we can't be profitable. Surely you aren't going to litigate us out of existence, right? And all every government's like, about that.
Yeah. God.
So about Microsoft as a Silicon Valley brain rot company, and I don't know why everyone views them as not that.
Right, and it's separate from Xbox.
Right. It's all one creature.
Disgusting.
And why are you partnering for another company? Like, Microsoft already owns a bunch of AI shit. You can't do shit that they're going to be doing for you?
Oh, let me explain. They were at the store and they saw something cute in the window, and it didn't matter that they already had a dog back at home, right? They wanted a new one. So then they just fucking partnered with these guys, and everyone went, guys, we can do it just as well as them. Hell, as far as you know, we could have done it better. You could have gotten that for free, right? For some reason. Oh.
No, but we have a specific model for this exact use case. One, no, you don't. That's not a thing. It's all the same shit. There's not a two. Please leave the office.
But if we partner with them and it's external, we get to have a public L. You know how much we like those.
Man, NVIDIA really did a number on Microsoft by showing that press thing.
They did.
I heard there is gang wars. I heard it is dangerous. I need you to talk to the gang lord.
Oh, fuck, the gang lord.
So more bad news time. More bad news.
Okay. All right.
Starting November 13th, the PS4 and PS5 will no longer be able to post to Twitter. So you can't post your screen caps on Twitter anymore. You know that thing, that functionality that an entire gen of games got photo modes for?
Yeah.
To take advantage of. Well, Elon apparently wants too much because his fucking sinking platform needs to be buoyed up. So he's trying to shake any company that has any connectivity with Twitter down for cash. Seemingly, Sony just went, no.
Yeah. That's not how this works.
I have to wonder how much of an unreasonable amount of money it was for them to do that. It must have just been obscene.
It's funny because Microsoft got out first, right? And now
yes,
Sony's out.
That wasn't even a news story. They just pulled it out like months ago, I think.
Yeah. I assume Nintendo's around the corner too.
Yep.
Yeah, it's really sad. There's not like an replacement for Twitter that's widely known yet. That obviously they'll just have integration there instead.
No, it's okay.
Yeah,
Everyone's going to get Blue Sky.
Yeah.
Blue Sky is so washed. I'm sorry if you're like, Blue Sky will save us. It's not. It's not going to save you. For one, it's run by Jack, who ran Twitter, who is currently every day saying, Elon's so smart. All his ideas are so good. So maybe don't attach your fucking shit at the hip to that guy. But like Threads didn't really take off meaningfully. This didn't take off meaningfully. Like it.
Here's the thing. I don't need these to take off meaningfully. Fuck the culture that is Twitter. Fuck the site. I'm okay with the fragmentation. Even if it makes marketing what we do harder, that's fine. I want to go to imagine this. When I go to the internet, I want to go to different places that have different looks and different vibes.
Okay, Dan, that's true. But I follow a lot of good Japanese artists, and I will never ever be able to find them on another platform. So I need them to Twitter to stop shitting its pants. I need Elon to stop doing tons and tons of ketamine and stumbling out fucking high as a kite and saying some shit like X will be an auction site next year.
Yeah. I feel like at some point something gets rectified on that front. But who knows? Who knows? I have no
Okay.
optimism.
Let's explain dunce cap Tim Sweeney.
Oh, wait, you talking about
You're gonna crash the whole PC trying to do
you
this.
talking about this guy?
God, it's so good.
No.
Okay, what? Please explain Tim Sweeney's new wardrobe.
This came out in the Epic versus Google, or is it Epic versus Apple? Epic versus Apple litigation. The Epic Game Store is not profitable even now.
Makes sense. Yeah.
way.
Epic thought that through seeking these exclusive game deals, they could get half of all PC gaming revenue.
Oh,
Yeah,
What?
half of it. Ignore the fact that there's not like Steam isn't the only thing. There are other things.
Right?
There's the Blizzard launcher, there's GOG, there's countless other things. Half. Just clean.
Yeah, that.
What is this, Birdemic? What a
Right?
simplified fucking number. Oh, we'll do the deal for $1 million. Oh, okay, here's $1 million. What's your cut of this? 10%. Wow, you got $100,000.
wow.
Yeah, like and all kinds of devs like popped up on Twitter like, we contacted them to see if they wanted our game, like to build a library for the Epic Game Store that people so the Epic Game Store wouldn't just be a thing you booted to get the one exclusive and free games, like you could use it as a store platform. And they said, "No, we're only interested in these exclusive deals and new things. We don't want any old games or non-exclusive deals on this platform."
Man. That's just stupid.
If you go look at the Epic Game Store, first of all, tons of Web3 garbage. And two, like you can't buy a Resident Evil game on the Epic Game Store.
I mean, at that point, are you even a platform?
Like not even one?
Even the phone can buy Resident Evil,
Right?
I don't think so. I don't think even Resident Evil 4 remake is on it. I think
You're telling me
think
Bob's
it's just
phone
like nothing.
is going to be able to play Resident Evil 4 Remake, one of the hottest games of this year, before Epic Gamers can? That's sad.
Yeah, this is even more
Yeah,
pathetic than I thought it was. I only heard parts of this.
Yeah, it's insane. How idiotic.
So
Yeah, it's
glad
just-
capitalism is a pure meritocracy.
I know.
It really seems like Tim Sweeney's just and for the record, like they can't get rid of Tim Sweeney. He owns a controlling stake of the company. It's
Right.
an Elon Musk Tesla situation.
Right.
Like he cannot be
Well,
dislodged.
no, because he founded the company. Elon did not found Tesla. He came in later.
But it seems like he's just going to drive Epic into the ground over delusions of controlling the entire gaming industry.
Right. It's like he had that thought that everyone plays Fortnite, so of course they'll also buy things on the store associated with Fortnite. It's like it's not how that works.
Everybody loves Fortnite, so I can take over the entire industry and turn it into my metaverse. Like, remember that a bunch of people left Epic recently, like not even laid off.
Oh, yeah,
but
it's
this stuff-
tons.
Like, yeah, they're Tim Sweeney's like steering this towards Epic 2.0 being a platform, and like
Yeah, the way they described it is this is Epic the company version 4 or 5.0. And Fortnite generation you consider the prior one, and Unreal Engine becoming its own engine before that.
Uh-huh.
So they clearly want to do some metaverse stuff, and it's really not going well.
Yeah. Man. It's like such an obvious win for a company in so many ways. Of like they have this super successful game as Fortnite. They're selling this engine to everyone in the industry.
Yeah.
Like what could go wrong? And apparently all of
hubris.
this. Yes.
Weird.
Yeah.
So the pandemic happened and they overreached. Very smart.
yeah.
I just think it's weird because as someone at Epic, I wouldn't think it would take forever to just make your own VR chat, which is all they really need to do.
Right.
Like if they're trying to make a metaverse, just make your own VR chat.
Yeah, I'm sure that people will put that together in the Fortnite Unreal Editor.
Right.
The problem with any
hard.
competition to VR chat is that it's not going to be as open as VR chat, so people will just use VR chat instead.
Possibly. A reminder, VR chat runs on Unity, which may become a problem. Because it's a free install.
Yep.
But yeah, I don't know. At some point, I believe if anyone can get away with having something that's a bit too moddable, so some people may have odd, really crazy things out there, then it's Epic, because they're already trying to do the Unreal Engine for Fortnite thing, which, opens them up to things. So, anyway.
So November 7th was this week.
Correct.
And traditionally on November 7th, BioWare does a thing called N7 Day.
Yeah.
Traditionally, why did something happen?
Well, they did something, and that something was an unbelievably embarrassing 30-second CG trailer of a character who we cannot see the face of because they're wearing a helmet, but they're a woman, walk down a hallway, and they turn around to show they look kind of like the original armor, but now they have like a jacket with a popped collar as part of the armor. Oh shit. Guys, we know nobody's working on this game. We know it. Like you said nobody's working on this game until Dragon Age 4 is out. It will never be out. Like, who you fooling?
Are you telling me Retro Island Gaming had a better N7 Day event than fucking BioWare?
And also the only thing we did get was we're connecting Mass Effect Andromeda, that game everybody hates, to it. It's going to be a sequel to both the original ones and Mass Effect Andromeda. And I'm like, how? Mass Effect Andromeda takes place like 250 years after the originals, because it's like these colony ships went to another galaxy.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, it's pretty isolated because everyone's a chicken shit coward.
I guess you could do time travel.
Oh boy, I want to move on. Do we have other?
Sure. Embracer's COO, operating officer, left the company to start a new company.
Is this the guy who was crying on stream?
No, that was the
CEO. Yeah.
Okay.
This is COO. So this is just like, we're not going to exist soon. I'm leaving. Goodbye. Ooh. And in a similar Embracer note, they reopened Free Radical to make a new Time Splinters. They're apparently shutting down that new Free Radical and already started laying people off. If they can't find a buyer, it will just be shut down. Like,
yeah, I'm pissed.
Buy the new Free Radical, they'll just be shut down.
Why does this keep happening? 15 years of pain liking Free Radical.
That's so bad.
Yeah, they expanded and expanded and expanded. It's like, we'll get bought out. And it's like, nobody's buying you out, bro. Look, have you seen the interest rate now?
Right.
And then it's like, oh, I guess we'll just go out of business and take every single one of these studios with me. I will, like, hey, Randy Pitchford, you better be calling all your friends on Epstein Net to get some funding, because you better.
I can't be on stream when that's said. I gotta go.
You better have people pull your ass out of that burning building, because they will take you down with them.
Yeah. Man, I really hope these guys get bought up by someone for Free Radical, because a new Time Splitters is just would be really cool. PlayStation was pretty well associated with that. Maybe Sony will get a game that's like a first-person shooter with a story and not an awful live service game out of this. Come on, please,
Yeah,
anything.
hopefully somebody will buy them. But here's a story that really fucking sucks. Revenant Hill, which is the Night in the Woods developer, that game's canceled. Scott Benson, one of the main forces behind Night in the Woods, has severe heart failure. It seems to be some kind of viral infection. They can't work anymore. Like, their health is too bad to work, and they did so many things on development. I hope I have the right person. It's Bombs Fall on Twitter. I hope that is Scott Benson, and I'm not completely wrong about who that is. Game's canceled.
Yeah, and this is that thing
working on it.
That with that.
It was the thing we saw that had like the cat that looked kind of like May from Night in the Woods, and it had like protesters outside a Factory, and
Mm-hmm.
it was framed as like kind of period PC that we saw at a State of Play. I think we saw it at.
Sounds right.
But yeah, it's gone. It's over.
That sucks.
David Zaslav has announced WB Games is going to wholly focus on live service games going forward.
They can learn literally nothing. How does this happen after Gotham Knights does terribly?
Hey guys, I left. I hope we're not talking about the same news that's been every news week for this entire fucking
And Multiversus went to get cigarettes and still isn't back.
Oh yeah.
Like Multiversus did so bad they unbooted it to try and do a relaunch to maybe have it catch on this time.
And
so
they did.
Clearly, the problem has been that they didn't believe in these projects enough.
What are they doing to Suicide Squad for this year if it wasn't on live servicing yet? Do they just think that there's some, like, if they just show us the same thing in a year, that we'll be like, oh, it's good this time, actually?
Maybe they're hoping that. Or David Zaslav was like, well, everybody else is moving away from live service. We now have a hole in the market.
Trying to loot a burning building.
It is not worth it, man.
Yeah, it's like, bro, have you seen the interest rate? You're not going to sell WB to Disney or Apple or whoever you think you're going to sell WB to.
No, what's gonna happen?
Yeah, that was the plan, man.
It always is the plan. That's the only plan anyone fucking has nowadays.
This isn't gaming related, but did you see that WB fucking shelved Coyote versus Acme, a movie that like was testing with 90s and every single person who saw it loved it regardless of background? It's like, well, we'll kill it for a tax write-off. Put it in the vault forever.
Yeah, that's fucked up.
Yeah, this needs to stop happening.
Yeah.
Is it just WB who keeps doing it?
I mean, they are a person who does it. Yeah.
That's most of who does it, yeah. Like Disney and HBO have done it a little bit, but it's really mostly been WB.
But I wonder how we get the kids. They still.
Yeah,
what was it the CEO said? Zaslav's just like, we just can't nail kids. And I'm like.
Yeah, canceling a Looney Tunes project that seemed universally beloved is a good way to fix that problem.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
And Dan and Bob's power has kicked in again.
I'm sorry.
That Braid remaster that I thought was totally canceled because
I'm so sorry.
Because Jonathan Blow now spends all day retweeting the Twitter account End Wokeness and Tucker Carlson and posting about seed oil alienated everybody he's ever spoken to. Well, apparently there was still enough people to get this out. It comes out April 30th. It still looks like shit. It has 15 hours of live commentary. Not live commentary, but 15 hours of commentary from various staff, including Jonathan Blow himself. I wonder what fucking insane shit he will say in that commentary.
Yeah.
So some of the way they market the commentary in the game itself is they're like, if you ever wanted to make a video game, this is a great video game to get to help you learn how to make a video game. And I'm like, oh my God.
Yeah.
How bad is what's going on there that's their pitch?
Right.
Because firstly, that video game was not, despite what you may have heard, an iconic, amazing game, well-made game, especially for when it came out. So what the fuck? How many feet can Jonathan Blow fit in his mouth in that commentary track? Because my current going theory, okay?
Uh-huh.
He doesn't do the commentary track. Other people do.
It says some of it does include him.
Some.
Yeah.
Yeah, so there's the way it's all of it.
They're just pumping that shit full of sawdust where people suck off the game in the commentary track.
Probably.
There's only one man that I want to hear give commentary over Braid.
Oh, yeah? Who's that?
Soldier Boy.
Hell yeah.
See, if they were brave, they'd be like, hey, can you just say, like, for half an hour, talk about Braid?
Yeah. Yeah, no, that'd be great. We'll just insert at random shit you said in the middle of the playthrough.
It's like it's like how that they should do commentary for Astro's Playroom, you know, the celebration of all Sony stuff, and just get Chad Warden to do it.
That's true.
They have to bleep every time he says "gay-lo."
Yeah. People are like, what is he saying? All I can hear is low.
That's all my news, but we still have BlizzCon.
Oh, that's true.
real quick, before we get into that,
Mhm.
the art for the remaster
Yeah.
is so bad. It still looks AI generated, but even worse. And the art looks identical, except for in situations where it looks completely different.
Yeah.
And I'm like, so what is this? What is going on here?
Like every comparison they do is like, you shouldn't have shown that. You shouldn't have shown that.
It was literally the Steam Deck thing where I showed you and Chris the new one and the old one, and you were all like, this one the new one? Or, no. Oh, well, the art design was barely better there. Now it's a flat brick wall. Why'd they do that? Let's talk about the BlizzCon. BillsCon.
It actually happened. I was surprised.
Yeah, it happened.
Yeah, has it not happened?
I feel like they had to cancel it like the last 2 years because of COVID and whatnot.
Right.
So I
No,
wasn't
they
sure
just
if
made
they
it
could.
a digital. They just made it a digital only con,
Okay.
and I think they only made it a digital only con for 2020 and 2021. I think they even had. an
Yeah, I
actual
think they
read
did
last
do
year.
something last year. I think that's right. So I saw a little bit of this design of this new Overwatch 2 character. Bob, you watched the trailer.
I did.
Tell me about Mauga? Mauga?
He seems to be a tank character with two big Gatling guns he has, and the two guns do different, like, one of them primes enemies for being shot, and the other one hurts them more when you shoot them afterwards, something like that.
Okay.
It looked okay. I don't know. It was really unspectacular for some reason. Like, they're just,
There's something about his design where it just feels half baked.
yeah,
Like for an Overwatch character?
right. It feels like it's missing something.
Yeah, I don't know. It feels like if you saw concept art of someone really early on in development, but like they weren't out yet. Like he looks like that fully realized. It's hard to describe, but yeah.
Yeah, I feel like the earliest art of Overwatch has like beta versions of all the characters. And
Yeah.
that it's something like you'd see in that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, exactly.
They also teased two more characters on Twitter. Let's like put some art out of them. And there's a new game mode called Clash, which they haven't really said what it is, and a new map, Hanaoka, which I'm not sure where that is. I
Right.
would assume somewhere in Japan, but
Yeah,
it might also
Japan.
be something else.
It's Japan.
Okay.
Like
Jim-
even just searching Hanaoka brings up. Well, I mean this one. Anyways, what were you gonna say, Chris?
One of those two new heroes, the rightmost one. Am I crazy, or do they like look like a character from EX Troopers?
One moment, I need to find this thing you're referencing. Can you post?
There's
Yeah,
a
let me
link in.
Oh, there's a link
Yeah,
in
there's
there.
a link in the document.
Okay, one sec. Oh, okay. Yep. One sec.
Yeah, I can see it.
Oh yeah, 100%. She
I looked at that.
definitely-
I'm like, maybe Blizzard is like getting some actual fucking designers to design these Overwatch characters. And then the one on the left, which is just Green Simon from Gurren Lagann.
Gonna go ahead and take us. Boop. There we go. Yeah, you're saying this one looks like the fake Mega Man Legends 3, but actually, what was the franchise it was? On
Lost
the PS?
Planet, I think.
Lost Planet.
Yeah.
Yeah, there we go. Yeah, I agree with that. That does look like that. And then this reminded you of what?
Simon from Gurren Lagann.
If you
Got
take
the
out like,
goggles and all the
Mhm.
drip.
yeah,
all
if
the
you take
sauce.
all the drip and sauce off, then sure.
And make them a single hue
Yes.
for some reason.
So yeah, one of them's a damage hero, the other's a support hero. I don't know which one's which.
Okay.
I assume the X Trooper is the support, and the other one's the damage because they have a big drill.
I think they're gonna flip that on its head just to surprise you. And you'll
They
be like,
might.
oh shit. What else do we got, Bob?
Let me see here. Diablo 4. They talked about the new expansion, Vessel of Hatred. It was a CG trailer, so we don't actually get to see anything in the game. But it has Aztec looking ruins and looks like it's sort of like the jungles in Diablo 2 Act 3.
Okay.
Which, when I bought that game, I thought that there was going to be like a large different environments like in old Diablo games. Now we're seeing that in the expansion packs instead.
It's okay. When we get to that final act, it's going to be really different, and you'll be okay with the fact that, to you, everything leading up to that seemed the same.
Uh-huh.
There were some environments.
Do you think it'll just be all stuff from the Diablo 2 remake used again?
I'm going to vomit. Stop saying stuff like that, probably.
Because that's what a ton of what was in the base game was.
Let's move on to my part of the
Punching the
news.
audience. Sure, yeah, go.
The World Soul Saga has been announced for WoW. It is an arc that will be composed of 3 different expansions. These expansions are The War Within, Midnight, and The Last Titan. Basically they promised that you're gonna get to progress your character again. We're gonna move away from the system they've had since Legion. There's Legion, then Battle for Azeroth, then Shadowlands, and we're on Dragonflight. So for the past 4 expansions, I don't know if Dragonflight has it. I don't really know anything about Dragonflight. They've had this system where you don't get new abilities as you level up anymore. Each expansion has its own power system that gives you a couple new abilities and alters how your existing abilities work. Like in Legion, you get the artifact weapon, which is a big, super powerful weapon that your character has, and you upgrade it over the expansion with like slots, and those slots will like change what your abilities do, make them better, make them behave entirely differently, sometimes give you new abilities. In Battle for Azeroth, it was the Azerite necklace, which led to the term neck power for like the power level your necklace was at. So like, I can't do this raid yet. I don't have enough neck power. In Shadowlands, it was like rune carving. It was some shit like that. But the point was that it went away in each new expansion. They just like took it away. It's like none of that shit works anymore. We don't want to. It became too difficult to continue giving new abilities that had to be balanced forever. Not that they really did that anyway, considering some classes changed dramatically between expansions anyway. But this was like, it's guaranteed to be everybody. But according to Metzen, it's like we're gonna control that for at least this set. Like, it'll be anything we introduce will carry over through these 3 expansions at least. And that's it. We don't know anything else.
I mean, that sounds like it makes sense. I feel really weird about losing like a large set of things going from one expansion to the next, but yeah, I don't know.
So that'll be neat. Presumably that will come out. That's coming. War Within's coming out next year. They did not give like a hard confirmation on how long these expansions would last, but they said we feel pretty good about where we are now. So I imagine it'll be 2 years, 2 years, 2 years, or just next year, then 2 years, then 2 years for the third. Cataclysm Classic is coming in 2024. Who wants to play with Chris and get ready for Mists of Pandaria Classic?
Oh my god.
Come on, gamers.
Who wants to do heroin?
We can party up and go through the zone where it's like it's more like, it's less like heroin, more like Chris wanting to show the fucked up thing he played when he was younger. He's like, look, there used to be real things here, and now it's a Rambo reference.
Oh, come on.
Oh, this zone's really great. It was really heavily theory craft for like the entire first 5 years of the game, and when we got here, it's just a bunch of Indiana Jones references and nothing else. Isn't that so cool?
Oh,
Jesus Christ.
disgusting.
Why would you want people to experience that?
If you play Final Fantasy 14, you should hop on Cataclysm Classic just to know like
Yeah.
what World of Warcraft is, because it's pretty much what World of Warcraft has been for 13 years. They also announced WoW Classic Age of Discovery. A while back they did a thing called WoW World of Warcraft Classic Age of, what the hell was it called?
Ultron.
Age of
You're just mad
Age of
because you didn't get
Mastery,
there
I think they
first.
called. No, they called it Season of Mastery. I'm sorry, Season of
Okay.
Mastery.
All right.
And this is Season of Discovery.
Mm-hmm.
I don't remember what the shit in season, what was different in Season of Mastery. I think it was like they made the raids harder and changed some things. But there's not going to be any testing. This starts November 30th. It adds new twists and turns to WoW Classic. They said you will be able to find like Diablo-esque runes that will change the role and abilities of your character. So they did the typical, like, a mage will be able to heal, a warlock will be able to tank, cats and dogs living together, mass hysteria. The level cap will initially be 25 instead of 60. This is like actual 25, not we condensed it 60 down to 25.
Mm-hmm.
It's like it's still the 25 that was in Classic. There will be a 10-man raid version of Black Fathom Deeps, which was a pretty unremarkable dungeon back in Classic, but now that we'll have a 10-man raid version. And they said they will intermittently raise the level cap by a little bit and do these funny end-game versions of future things. They also announced in a move that is unbelievably stupid, and I certainly hope they walk back pretty soon. They don't intend to keep any, because the way the Classic servers work is they progress in pretty much real time. Like when it's been long enough for the new expansion to come out, the new expansion it updates the new expansion. But for Classic, they kept the thing where you could like flick it over and boot into Classic still, because Classic's so popular. They said they're not doing that for Wrath. For Wrath of the Lich King. I'm like, guys, this is the most popular your game ever was.
Yeah, felt like it.
If you're doing quirky shit, like seems like it. It's the numbers
Mm-hmm.
were highest in Wrath.
Yeah.
Like, guys, if you're doing like these quirky remixes, you should do it for Wrath. And maybe that's like the roadmap is like we're testing all the quirky shit on Classic, and then we'll scale up to Wrath. But I don't know. People love Wrath. I love Wrath.
Yeah, Wrath was great.
I didn't go back. The only reason I didn't get into Wrath Classic is because they at first were like, we're not including looking for group because that wasn't there at the launch of Wrath. And I'm like, I'm not gonna sit in fucking Dalaran and post looking for group, please need healer. And then they eventually relented, which I didn't know. I didn't know they relented and put in looking for group. So I would have been fucking playing that by now if I had known. But yeah, do some Wrath shit, assholes. I'm probably gonna. Hey Microsoft, just add a WoW sub to Game Pass Ultimate. Come on, just do it.
Burn more of your money.
It'll work out somehow, please.
We promise
Please.
this cliff will be fine. Drive off of it.
Yeah, but maybe I'll check out Classic, WoW Classic Lich King soon, so I can start getting ready for Cataclysm to get ready for Mists of Pandaria and be like, come on, come play it. Come on, I'll buy you a mount. You won't even have to grind for the gold for the mount. Come on, I'll walk you through these early dungeons so you don't have to look for a party even. Come on, it'll be so easy.
Which one's more vile, Bob? Chris throwing fucking aggro into the Trails mine, or this?
I think this.
It's definitely this.
Yeah, definitely this. But I'm still gonna try. I'm gonna try with. I'll even suck people in with streams. I'll be like, come on, we'll stream Cataclysm together. Come on, we'll do the new version of Dead Mine.
Ooh.
No, it's working.
My brother's gonna be like, no, Chris is right. You should do it, and I should do it too. Well, let's get on to heroin. I'm like, no.
Come on, we can do the Dragon Soul raid once we're all level 85.
Oh my god. That's it for BlizzCon news, right?
Yeah.
And I think that's it. I think that's it for news. Huh.
Yeah, I don't think there's anything else.
You know, I feel like
Oh,
if you,
Euphoria 2 launches February 29th.
we covered that last week, I think.
Oh, right.
Unless the release date was new.
I don't think the release date. I think the release date is new. Also, the fact it's not going to be on PlayStation or Xbox at launch. That'll come later.
Oh, I didn't know that.
God,
What's up?
you need to stop
Stop
that.
Let's. I don't.
I think it's funny you keep like focusing on parts of Tim Sweeney's face when the funniest part is just the entire image of him wearing the dunce cap made of tinfoil.
Look, I'm liking. I want to keep it moving. I want to try new things.
Feed him the donut.
Oh my God. It's so tiny.
Yeah.
I didn't know they made donuts that small. Oh, he ate it.
I can't believe Todd Sweetie ate the fucking donut. This sucks.
That bastard.
That fucking asshole. How could he do this to me? Now I have to play WoW. I think that's it for Big Thing to mention this week. Tomorrow, Bob and I and Eric are streaming Dokapon Kingdom and eating po folks. We're gonna have some nice country dinner, go with our nice D&D party game, have a good time. I hope y'all stop by.
You're gonna enjoy some good old fashioned country cooking.
Hey, get some fried green tomatoes.
Get yourself some fried pickles in the patented Homer sauce.
Thank you. I couldn't remember his name. I started inserting different names. I'm like, Clarence Sauce? So please be excited for the Dokapon Kingdom stream. And it's a little up in the air because somebody politely let me know earlier today that, hey, that gaming convention that happens like right next door to you is happening like tomorrow. And I'm like, what? Huh? I may have to do something with that. I don't know though, because I'm about to travel to GigaBoots HQ City and I have to make that 11-hour drive again.
Uh-huh.
And I would sure hate to get a convention virus
Right.
and then have to drive 11 hours. But
Okay, you
anyway,
probably won't feel it until you start coming back.
is that better?
No.
Is it? I don't know which one's worse. For the people there, it's better that I start feeling it and spreading it all the way down, I guess. I don't know. I'm going to start a disease trail all the way back. But yeah, we want to do the Call of Duty campaign that everyone says is so good.
Yeah, it's the best one ever, right?
So we may do that for 4 hours on Saturday and then be done. This is a baby. It's a baby. This is a tiny baby game. And that's it from us. Hey, Chris, what are you up to?
I guess on Saturday I'm gonna stream Broken Age.
Oh. We'll get to see how unfinished it is.
Yeah, I'm really afraid it's just gonna be like I'm afraid it's gonna be like unbelievably cryptic on how to progress because it's actually unbelievably short.
Yeah.
Oh.
Would a point and click adventure game really be obtuse?
I would hope not. I would hope that Tim Schafer's like self-absorption would kick in. Stop that. Stop it. I would hope that he was like just wanted to write a bunch of stuff and have celebrities say it, but who knows? They ran out of content super hard on that. It was like we have to ship it in 2 parts.
Yeah, are you going to try and play both parts or is just...
Yeah, I'm gonna try to play both parts. Like how long to beat is like 5 hours.
Oh, for
Like,
both?
not super. Like it's an adventure game.
Yeah,
Not super long.
that's true.
Aggro, now that I've
Like if
put the
it's too
Tim
long,
Sweeney
I'll just
mouth
stop.
over you, I'm convinced you're for some Swedish comic that's very treasured.
Just some European obscure comic character.
I will have revenge for this.
You know the worrying part? I believe him. I don't think that's an empty threat. He's going to be like, Zoro, here's $500. Draw him fucking.
Aggro does get his revenge frequently.
Aggro's Revenge sounds like a shovelware Wii title.
It does. So is that our first game development? Our first game at GigaBoots game development? Aggro's Revenge?
On the Nintendo Wii.
It only boots in a dolphin emulator. Okay, I gotta get rid of this Tim Sweeney mouth. That's. Hey, Aggro, what are you up to?
Aside from plotting, I will be pretending that Star Ocean remake hasn't come out while I finish the Talos Principle and see on which side this coin lands.
We need to get out of town, Bob. Now more than ever. Well, that's going to do it for Big Think Dimension this week. We will see you all next week. Goodbye. Hey, thanks for listening to this episode of Big Think Dimension. If you like that, you should head on over to patreon.com, slam that like button, subscribe to, patronize us over there, you know, because that's what, and become a pod lord. Bob, what's wrong? I'm being like all the other popular YouTubers. What do you want from me?
Yeah, go for it, man.